Good day, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. This is Viper at Survivorland, and we have once again paused on a screen with no background music, because it's how we do. I'll say, Ramen, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland of the chat. Thank you for 54 flippin' months of resubscription. I don't know why I clicked that button when I went to go click chat. Very much appreciated. So we had left off right after the next split point, I believe, because the whole point is January 2nd, don't answer phone calls. It's January 2nd, we didn't answer a phone call. Cool. So I'm pretty sure this was just the split point right here. And we're going to keep it going. Last time we had good times. Good times. Good times. What's going on? And right after that, I suddenly felt incredibly dizzy and everything went black. What's going on? Improvements on the week before? Yeah, I mean, maybe we're just waiting for more this week. Who knows? I really don't remember which endings go which way. Amadeus and Salieri, Krisu and me. These two pairings held a special meaning for me. If you've never seen the movie Amadeus, it's totally worth watching. Pretty good. I ended up watching it so many times in music class that I ended up just buying the DVD. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a famous musician, known and loved worldwide. His name at baptism was Johannes, Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Theophilus Mozart. His parents didn't like him very much, did they? Theophilus is a Greek word meaning beloved of God. Mozart liked it and chose Amadeus, a Latin word meaning the same thing as his nickname. Yeah, a rare, not Japanese or French Oriange. At the end of his tragically short 35-year life, he left us over 600 masterpieces. Was Amadeus truly a special person, beloved and granted special unique gifts by God? I didn't think so. He was a genius, sure, but I think Amadeus had his own struggles and suffering to overcome. No matter how wonderful a diamond in the rough might be, it's worth nothing unless you polish it. Writing off his success as the result of his gifts is an insult to the effort and struggle he put into his work. Teleopolis has 1,400 masterpieces on it and Mozart's got nothing. But at the same time, if you want to be Mozart, don't you need the same level of raw talent he had? There are a lot of people in this world with that kind of talent. Krisu Makise. To me, that was her. You could feel her talent just by looking at her. Constant stream of new ideas was always a source of inspiration to me. I was proud to be able to work with her. But I didn't know what I meant to her. It was embarrassing to ask. I always hoped I'd get the chance to bring up the subject someday. But then, on July 28th, 2010, Krisu Makise passed away, and I lost the chance to find out what I meant to her forever. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. During his life, there was a man very close to him who considered him his greatest rival. His name was Antonio Salieri. I took my account name on the Victor Krandia University network, Salieri, from him. The network got a big update a few weeks after Krisu died. That's when I chose it. I wanted to match the name of the software that Krisu and I had been working on before her death, which I still worked on to this day. There was no more meaning to it than that. Definitely no more meaning than that. The name of that software was Amadeus. It was Dr. Leskinen who came up with the idea of naming this neural network-based AI after the genius composer. At the time, I thought it was a good idea, and I still do today. Amadeus and Salieri, Krisu and me. These two pairings held a special meaning for me. Or Maha, yeah. I loved Krisu. I respected Krisu. I admired Krisu. On to another chapter. The sense of dizziness that I'd experienced so many times before slowly faded. I was standing in the middle of the room, holding my phone. There was no question that was reading Steiner. Yusu hung after they reached Steins' gate. Obviously, yeah. The world line had changed. But why? What was the cause? Was it that message from Amadeus? No, I could worry about the cause later. For now, I needed to know what was going on. I looked around the lab. The place hadn't seemed to change much, but several people were missing. The missing ones were Kaede, Fubuki, and Ferris. Daru was sitting in front of his PC, like always. And Mayuri was in the kitchen making instant coffee. Also, hey Art, how's it going? Welcome to Viperland in the chat. How you doing tonight? For Maho to smile. I mean, she's not smiling now. I don't know. I feel like she'd outwardly be like, this song's awful, but like on the inside, she'd have it like on reserve at home. Like when she really needed a smile, she'd play it and be like, hey, this is stupid. So that's my take. She's a meme soon. Oh yes, absolutely. She handed the steaming hot coffee to Maho, who was sitting on the sofa. Maho, have some coffee. It'll calm you down. That is not what coffee does. That is not what coffee does. That is not at all the point of coffee. If you need to calm down, don't have a cup of coffee. Thanks, I'll take it. Maho? Maho's here at the lab? Before the world line changed, she should have been in her office in Wako City. Whew. Come to think of it, I haven't had anything to eat all day. Can't blame you after what happened. Want some food? All we got is chicken wings and bananas and snacks, though. Oh man, they can actually finally hold on to bananas for more than like a day now. It must be nice, for Mayuri at least. Or should I get a boxed lunch from a convenience store? Oh, maybe we could order pizza. She can actually offer people bananas. Thanks, but I'm okay. I'm not that hungry. I'll need to change hotels too after what happened. I'll probably have to fill out some paperwork, so I'll be back later. Sure you shouldn't just rest for today? You look pale. You can stay here at the lab if you want. Suzuha is not here, so you'd have the place to yourself. I listened for a while, but all I learned was that something bad had happened to Maho, and she was staying here for a while. Did it have something to do with Amadeus being taken over? Hyajo, what happened? Maho, Daru, and wow. Don't know where that went. Maho, Daru, and Mayuri all seemed stunned at the question. What do you... like? So clearly something big enough happened that him asking is like, what? What do you mean what happened? Oh, I'm just having trouble taking it all in. What happened to Amadeus? Did you get the connection back online? I tried asking, but Maho just frowned as if she didn't know how to answer. Did that mean... I love that no matter what happens to Akabe, no matter how many loops or whatever, he doesn't ever get smoother at this. Like, I get it. It's awkward. It doesn't seem a pleasant experience to begin with, and then you have to try to ascertain what's different, but like, at no point does he get like subtle or anything. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna ask the obvious question. Did that mean that Amadeus wasn't taken over at all in this world line? Someone had sent me a message on Ryan. Oh, we got some messages. Oh, come on, Okabe. There's nobody in the Wako City office right now. Moika Kiryu? Why would she be sending me a Ryan? Yes. That was a great scream. Oh, damn it. Hold on. Where's the gif of this? We had this happen 3 times in our D&D campaign. What is it? I think this is it. I don't know if this is the one. It's that scene from The Office where Dwight's on camera and the chick comes up behind him and he's just like, ah, fuck. It happened like 3 times during the D&D campaign, and I don't know what the... I don't even know what to search for the right GIF for it. Maybe here. If I can't find it in a second, it's fine. Here it is. Probably going to be a long Google image search address. No, it's actually not that bad. Literally just like she was just standing there and he just notices it's exactly what just happened here. Not even like snuck up behind him or anything, just, you know, she was just there, just because he's blind. I screamed when I realized that Moika was right behind me. Where did you come from? I've been behind you the whole time. I get what that's supposed to sound like, but that also sounds very threatening. I've been behind you the whole time. Sure, I may not stand out much, but seeing you look like you just ran into a ghost kind of hurts, you know? Oh, I'm gonna feel really bad about hurting Moika's feelings. Really bad. Awful. Though this current one hasn't, to the best of our knowledge, done anything bad. It's still, you know. Were you here the whole time? Yes. Did that mean I told Moika she could come to the lab? What's going on here? What do you mean, empty? She was probably talking about the Brain Science Institute's office in Wako City. And she was definitely talking about it, but it's fine. No one was there. It's closed. Closed? Moika's fingers raced over the phone. I just explained this. There was a gas leak at a lab yesterday. Excuse me. The facility's been locked down until they determine the cause. Yeah, she's not, but like, you know, can't forget what's happened. Dr. Hayajo and Professor Leskinen have moved the lab to Tokyo Denkai University in the meantime. There was a gas leak yesterday. I don't remember that. Yeah, that's what happens when the timeline changes, dude. The world line change must have altered the past. Yeah, no kidding. It's okay. So, Hyajo came here? Just told you, remember? That's part of it, but someone ransacked my hotel room this morning. So Moika told me how to contact you. Did you forget? Yes. I'm glad you were okay. Did you run into the thief? I like how he's just gonna, not even gonna, didn't forget, it's fine. Yeah, Well, I mean, he knows that. He knows that from the previous game. So it's just, you know, normal. No, I was lucky. You could say it's thanks to Kiryu. That was the only bit of luck we had. Oh yeah, were you around for the previous game? Yeah, she's very socially awkward and basically just types through the phone. Very rare for her to actually talk. A little more likely in this timeline, it seems, but yeah. He called her Shining Finger was her nickname because she would just be so fast at typing. That's her standard. It's an established thing. That was the only bit of luck we had. So that's how. Kind of understood how Maho had arrived here. By the way, where's Kagari? Daru looked at me again, confused. But Mayuri smiled. I think she's in Awate right now? I hope she gets to see her family. Iwate? Why Iwate? Where did that come from? They found her family? Yep. So Luca and Luca's dad and Suzu all went to go see them. Suzuha's with them, so it'll be fine. Don't understand sadly. Okay, fair enough. While I definitely think you should absolutely watch it at some point, every aspect of this game spoils all of that game, except for the bad endings, I guess, just by existing, since this takes place after. It's still totally worth it, in my opinion. It's a great visual novel, and if you don't have time for the visual novel, the anime is one of the best visual novel adaptations. It misses a few things, but as far as adaptations go, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's so good that that's how I started. That's how I first encountered Steins Gate, was the anime, and then went, wow, that was great. I should look for the game it's based on, and then the whole rabbit hole started. Family, Iwate. I did, yeah, it's all on YouTube. I mean, or on Twitch too. It's probably easier to search for it on YouTube, because you'd have to go back away here. Either way, it's there. Things have changed more than I'd imagined. I believe I got a full playlist set up for it. I have a bad habit of forgetting to set things into playlists on YouTube, because YouTube just sucks, so I just put them there for archival. If Kagari was in Iwate, that meant that we hadn't been attacked last night too. So instead of attacking Kagari, they hit Maho's hotel room? This was getting confusing. I knew it would make her think I was a weirdo, but I had Maho explain to me what happened once more. Yeah, she's gonna be like, you're insane, right? From what she said, most of yesterday hadn't changed much. Mahu, Daru, Fubuki, Kaide, Nae, and I had all gone to Yanabayashi Shrine. Lukiko, Mayuri, Kagari, Suzuha, and Ferris were all helping at the shrine in their priestess outfits. That fit with what I remembered. So on my other Discord server that has the waifu bot, Vespa pulled Dr. Leskinen. I immediately hate grabbed him and threw him on the ground. Immediately. She was like, "The hell was that all about?" And I was like, "Bad man." But he's got some funny lines, and I linked the holy cow line, and she's like, I had to listen to that like 6 times straight in a row. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's a great line.
Holy cow!
It's so good. I immediately threw him on the ground. Saw him pop up, was like, no, he must suffer. Nobody else on the server understands. After that, we went to Lukiko's house and had a small New Year's party. And then Lukiko's father shared some surprising news with us. He'd found out that someone who might be a relative of Kagari's lived in Uwate. Everyone is excited because if they found a relative, it might be the key to getting Kagari's memories back. So early this morning, Lukiko and Suzuha went with them to Iwate. Meanwhile, Maho had gotten a call from Dr. Leskinen on her way back from the party. That's when he told her about the gas leak at the office in Wako City. One of the pipes on another floor had sort of a problem, and a small amount of poisonous gas had leaked into the air. They didn't know what the cause was right now. Until they knew the cause, they decided to shut down the office for safety reasons. Depending on what they found, it could take anywhere from a week to a month to resolve the issue. Geez, that long to find a poisonous gas leak? Maho had a lot of work to do because of the office closure. She was out working until morning. Then she went back to the hotel and slept until she was woken up by a call around 10 a.m. Miss Kiryu is here to see you in the lobby, ma'am. I don't know what you're talking about, Robin. That's right, I had that interview today, but I thought she was going to call my phone. The battery is dead. After all the chaos last night, I must have forgotten to charge it when I got back to the hotel. She'd fallen asleep without even changing clothes. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and left the room, wearing the same outfit she had on last night. She grabbed her bag, which held a bunch of her documents and her computer, since she thought she'd need it for the interview. In the end, that was what saved her. So I went down to the lobby to talk to Kiryu, and then we chatted for a while and came back up to my room. Good man. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, totally. There's so many people in the lobby that I didn't think I could conduct a good interview. I like her using like the anime faces, even though she's just blank slate monotone all the time. And when I got inside, in those few minutes, someone had broken in and ransacked my room. They'd even ripped the bed and pillows open with a knife, so the whole room was covered with cotton. No good, huh? I was too panicked to do anything. Afterward, I called the front desk and then the police. After the police got done with their questioning, Dr. Hiyajo still hadn't calmed down, so I decided to message you and have her arrested at the lab. Was anything stolen? The cops asked, so I checked, but I couldn't find anything. My wallet was in my bag, and she wasn't out of the room for long. That's right, so maybe the thief couldn't stay long? Knowing you, they'd probably be more interested in your research data than your money, right? Not have to worry about that. All the data and papers are stored on the university server. Nothing is kept on the computer itself. What about the other thing? The other thing? That laptop and hard drive. I didn't need to tell her that I was talking about the ones that had belonged to Krisu. They're fine. Maho pointed to the bag sitting beside the sofa. They were still in my bag. I see. And even if someone had stolen them, they couldn't access them without the password. What do you think they were after? If they were an industrial spy, probably my computer and papers. Think the office gas leak has anything to do with it? I don't know, I couldn't say. Maho's smartphone rang. It was plugged in at the corner of the room charging. Evidently, it had charged enough to turn back on. Maho put her coffee cup on the table and stood up. Moika looked at her, worried. Why does she have the most basic ringtone? Why won't she just pick up... That's an awful ringtone, yeah. Like anything else. Are you okay? Yeah, thanks. Maho took the phone from the charger and looked at it. But she quickly glanced back at me. It's from Krisu. Huh? Krisu? Did that mean that Amadeus hadn't been taken over? Maho answered the call, turning the phone so I could see it. Maho, are you okay? Are you hurt? They didn't get rough with you or anything, right? Okabe, what are you doing with Maho? Are you two already that close? That's not it, Krisu. I'm at the lab right now. I'm so glad you're safe then. Yeah, so calm down. How can I stay calm? I called you a dozen times and you never picked up. And when I searched the internet, I saw there was a robbery at the hotel, and it was evidently in your room. I was so worried. Okay, got it. I apologize. Sorry. Thanks, Krisu. I'm fine. It's true that I was robbed, but I didn't run into the thief. I'm taking a break here right now. I just forgot to charge my phone is all. That must have really worried you, huh? Yes. No, if nothing happened, that's fine. Krisu didn't seem to have changed at all. Maho explained the events of yesterday to her, the same way she just explained them to me. So nothing was really stolen. Krisu seemed to be lost in thought. What's wrong? So, were they after the research data then? But they put a lot of effort into learning about Maho-tan, right? They knew what hotel she was staying at, what room she was in, and they were able to hit it as soon as she left. Does it make sense that they knew all that and didn't know that there was no research data at the hotel? So maybe they were after the laptop in her bag. But the only people who should know about that are me, Maho, and Okabe. Oh, so she does know about it. And me too. I see. So unless the thief was Daru or I, there's no chance they were after the laptop. If there was one other possibility... Krisu put her finger to her temple. It could be my control codes. Control codes? Is that like the admin password? Not quite. I've told Okabe about this. I know there's a space inside the Amadeus system that only I can access. Yeah, you called it a secret diary, basically. That's right. Any access to my systems, internal or external, gets logged in that diary. Let's say someone altered the system to allow them to take me over and control me. Even if they could do that, they couldn't mess with my secret diary, so I'd compare the two and realize that something had been changed and then restore it. Yeah, got it. Daru would be quick on the pickup, hacker. And the key to open that secret diary is the control codes. That's right. The Amadeus system and data are all under Dr. Leskinen's control, but only one person in the world knows the control codes. And that's Maho. Is that true? Yeah, Krisu's right. If they were after my research results, that's about the only thing they could get their hands on. Was that stolen? Don't worry, right, Maho? Yeah. The control codes aren't written down anywhere. Maho pointed to her temple just as Krisu had done. They only exist in my head. That seems like a dangerous way to keep them stored, honestly. If the thief found that out, they'd come after Maho herself next. Still, this is bad news, you're right. They might be after the control codes. I can't leave Japan immediately, but I don't want to be attacked again. I don't know what to do, though. You can stay here at the lab until things calm down. Or do you want to come to Mayushi's house? Thanks, Mayuri, but I can't ask that of you. You didn't, she offered. It hadn't happened in this world line, but I still found myself remembering the attack on Kagari. Neither Mayuri's house nor the lab seemed safe. So you all came to me, yeah? I also like that she wears this at home. As if she's not there, you know. That's right. An hour later, we'd all gone to Ferris's condo. We all talked about it a lot and decided the best thing to do might be to have her stay at your condo for a few days. I don't know how to say this, but... Maho seemed hesitant, but Ferris crossed her arms and nodded, satisfied. You made the right choice, nya. This condo is protected by the best security systems money can buy now. And Kuroki's here too. Kuroki? The butler you just met at the door. He's a real butler! Yeah, but why does that matter? Kuroki is the ultimate butler. Huh? I'll pass on explaining any more than that. Honestly, I don't know the details myself. I don't think it was a good idea to ask him either. He's just an amazing guy, that's all. It's not a problem for Ferris at all, yeah? You can use the guest room in the back. You can stay for more than just a few days, Mahon-yan. Just stay here as long as you're in Japan, yeah? Mahon-yan? Huh? What is it, Kiryu? Interview? I need to interview Dr. Hiyajo. Oh, that's right, we were supposed to do that today! We can reschedule and meet at a coffee shop somewhere. I've got it, nya! Huh? Sheer force of will, the sheer power of cat keeps it from happening. Monihan can stay here too. Huh? Huh? That room's plenty big enough for 2 people. And you'd feel better with another girl around, right, Mahon-yan? Maybe, but... How about it, Moe-nyan? Or Moe-nyan? Moe-nyan? That's also true. She's got so much money, she could absolutely have cooling pads in there. Wait, Ferris, that's... I was about to say that it was dangerous. Moeka Kiryu could be around her. At least I still didn't trust her. But... I think it's a good idea. Kiryushi does some dirty work herself, and she said she knows self-defense, right? Yes, I guess. She's a lot stronger than me or Ocarine. Unless you have to jump on her, I guess, but even that's not easy. But... Well, Moe-nyan? I don't mind. See, this would be the perfect time for Daru to also have the cat face, so it could be double cat face. Then it's settled, nya. That's true, she was not exactly, overly coherent. Would it be a bother having the 2 of us? Don't worry about a thing, nya. Ferris was an only child, so it would be like having a big sister and a little sister, nya. See, the one person here, always down to help. Besides Mayuri, Ferris. Honestly, I feel like just the whole Meikui Nyan squad, even though we only really know 2 of them. Clearly, like, she literally lives in a penthouse and, like, is on the board for the entire city. Now we just stroll up and be like, hey, you've only met this person once, she's gonna stay here for a while, can she? Thanks, bye. And not only she's like, yeah, sure, she's like, how about her too? Why don't we just have a party? Like, what? I'm an adult! In the end, my opposition to it was completely ignored. Her master plan, if she has a master plan, it's absolutely to turn everyone into a cat girl. Or just spread more moe. That's it. The next day was the last day of New Year's break. I came to Akihabara for the 3rd day in a row. I wanted to visit Ferris's condo and check up on Maho.
Yeah.
Meowster plan. No, that's not right. I'm here to check up on Moeka Kiryu. Maho and Moeka had ended up staying together yesterday without anyone really thinking about it. Moeka would get to interview Maho, and Maho would feel better having someone around. This was probably the best option, but I knew something about Moeka that no one else did. Moeka Kiryu was a rounder. She didn't know self-defense, she knew how to kill someone if she needed to. But who would she try to kill? In this world line, I wasn't looking for the IBN 5100 or making a time machine. The rounders were probably ignoring us. Probably, you know? I knew that in my head, but... Even on the last day of vacation, Akihabara was as lively as ever. Hours were shorter than usual, but everywhere from the appliance stores to the maid cafes was still open. Excuse me. In fact, there were lucky bags and special New Year sales that you could only get today, and some customers had come for those. The sidewalks were filled with girls in dazzling kimonos who'd come from the nearby shrine, as well as the usual Akihabara otaku. The place was even more chaotic than usual. So around her, so she still might be too true. Yeah, I mean, it would make sense, but as long as you haven't pissed them off, I guess, or gotten on their radar, come to think of it, May Queen should still be open too. Ferris and Mayuri both said that they were working there today. Then it's just those two at the condo, huh? Kuroki should be there too, I guess. That's okay, right? It was hard to imagine Moika doing anything to Maho, like for example attacking her. Moika had no reason to do that. But even if I knew that in my head, it didn't make controlling my emotions any easier. It had bugged me enough last night that I'd barely been able to sleep. I saw the two of them living together without any kind of problem. Maybe I'd feel better? I hurried to Ferris's condo. Welcome, Master Okabe. Kuroki the butler welcomed me. He was the ultimate butler who'd taken care of Ferris after her parents died and left her all alone. He still helped her in her work, and was one of the few people that she trusted completely. Sorry, sir, the mistress is out at the moment. Oh, yeah, I know. I came to say Hiajo. The two of them are in the guest room. Please, come in. Thank you. Let me know if you need anything, sir. He has a portrait, yeah? Did he in one? I truly don't remember. He only shows up in like 1 or 2 minor scenes in one, right? I don't remember. He didn't. Okay. Kuroki spun around 180 degrees with the same trained and effortless movement as always, then went to take the shortest path back to his room. Oh dear. He must have tripped because he staggered slightly and stopped. My apologies, sir. You alright? Perhaps I'm tired. How embarrassing. Oh, no. I'll be fine once I get a little rest. Excuse me. His expression didn't change, but the tone of Kuroki's voice was slightly embarrassed as he headed for his room. That's rare. He's usually so robotic. I can't believe I just saw him stagger in front of a guest. He said he was tired. Has something been stressing him out? No, for now I needed to worry about Maho. Hiajo, you here? Okabe, come in. What the hell? I was stunned as I came into the room. It was definitely the same guest room I'd been in several times before, probably, but everything about it had changed. First, the bed was gone and had been replaced by a big desk and a low Japanese table. Maho was sitting at the desk, glaring at a 16-inch laptop as she sipped coffee from a mug. There was a small laptop on the low table, and Moika was kneeling directly on the carpet in front of it, legs splayed, tapping away at the keyboard. Behind them was a steel bookshelf, and I could see English language journals and fashion magazines sticking out of it. Till yesterday, this had been a guest room. In less than a day, it had been transformed into Maho and Moika's workspace. I'm almost done. Can you sit over there? Maho put down the coffee cup without looking away from the screen, which was filled with complicated and constantly changing 3D graphs. Moika tapped at the keys silently, without even bothering to look at me. What the hell's going on in here? Did the world line change again? I quickly covered my mouth with my hand, but the two of them were so engrossed in their work, they didn't respond at all. And there we go. Once she hit a stopping point, Maho spun around in a chair to face me. Hello, Okabe. She didn't seem to think anything was out of the ordinary. Did you come to see how I was doing? That's nice of you. Yeah. Sorry to have you come all this way, but I have to do Moika's interview right now. That's fine, but can you explain how the room got wrecked? Wrecked? I think it's a quite nice environment. It wasn't this much of a mess yesterday. Maho seemed confused for a moment, but finally seemed to understand what I was saying. It's dangerous to go walking around, so I have to do my research here, right? So I reorganized things to make it easier to work. Reorganized? This went far beyond what I'd call reorganization. Neither Daru nor I were very good at cleaning, but we weren't this bad. Did you get all this together yourself? That's right. Kiryu said she'd read her article here, so we came up with a list of all the furniture and materials we'd need. Had to carry a bed solo, a bed, a metal rack, boxes of books, everything. All of it. The bed alone would be bad, but like, everything. Maybe they had the metal rack, but it wasn't in this room. Right? And books are heavy, ho. Just bringing that box from downstairs that had my strategy guides in it got some weight to it. Where did you get a desk and bookshelf on such short notice? You write articles anywhere, but I'm a bodyguard, so I need to stay by Dr. Yajo's side. You're so far behind the times, Okabe. Moika, you're using a flip phone in 2011. You're using a flip phone. But it's okay. You can get most anything off the net in a day these days. I asked Dr. Yajo what she wanted and ordered it off the net. I was sure. Sure of what? No, nothing. Thought the world line had changed and I hadn't realized it. But evidently, I'd been worried over nothing. Did you put the desk and bookshelf together on your own? I asked the butler. He's really amazing. Oh, so that's why he was tired. That explained a lot, but just hearing all this had exhausted me. I found a place to sit down and... Oops. I caught my foot on something. I looked down to see a thick book. Its page is open. What's this? It's a book, Okabe. Leave that there, because I'm going to read it later. Make sure you don't turn any pages. Later? About 19 hours from now, as a rough estimate? I've got a bookshelf. Why not put it away if you're not reading it? I'm going to start reading it again soon, so it makes no logical sense to put it back on the shelf each time. That's not a very scientific approach. Platinum Prima Guide. Oh, I hope he didn't. Is that how it works? That book was thick. I checked the other one, like the 10-2 guide was about half the pages, and the Final Fantasy XII guide was about half the pages. Those were my other two longest ones we got. Also, Hisor. Welcome to Viperland in the chat. But the Platinum one, considering it had the entire guide to the game, all the side activities, the entire Pokédex, and the entire attack dex, doubled. It was both of them combined. Looked at the floor and saw 4 other open books. That wasn't all. The carpet was strewn with papers, used cups of instant ramen, bath towels, handkerchiefs, and other things. Their old clothes were lying out too. I saw a skirt, a t-shirt, a blouse, socks, tights, and other items of clothing. It was a lot like when I'd visited Moika's house in the other world line, before all this. Also has a feeling of like a con hotel room. It's like, you throw your dirty clothes in one corner, you've got the stuff you're doing over here, you got your outfits over there, like, it's very much a con hotel room. Evidently neither Moika nor Maho were the type to worry about keeping things clean. Premier Guide and Sun and Moon. Yeah, that would be something. Ah, but the guides could easily get shorter with a sorted shield. There was enough space around the low table to move, but there was enough junk around where Moika was sitting that it would be impossible to sit next to her. Did he eat a Pokemon alone? Yeah, can I move anything that's not a book or paper? Go ahead. Okay. Since they'd given their permission, I leaned over to pick up a pink towel. Huh! It wasn't a towel, it was a pink bra. How do you make that mistake? A bra and a towel look nothing alike. Not even the same type of fabric. That's... What the... They look very different. My brain utterly failed to process this new development, and I froze with my hand still holding it high in the air.
Hey master, I am mad scientist. It's so cool. Son of a bitch.
I like her just staring him down as he does this. Moika was looking at me blankly. No, this is, well... Okabe, that's mine. You can't just go touching a girl's underwear. What he should have said is, I was trying to clear some space and thought it was a towel. What he said was, I couldn't help it. Yep. I screamed and threw the bra away. Moika glanced downwards. Her cheeks were slightly flushed. Oh, he absolutely has a way with words. Her hands quickly moved to cover her chest. I didn't mean anything by it. I tried as best as I could to get it out of my mind, then found a space in the corner that was still relatively clean and sat down. Drinks are self-service. The fridge is over there. There was a round pink fridge in the corner with plastic cups on top. You bought a fridge too? It's so convenient having a fridge at work. You don't have to leave to get any drinks, so the only time you have to leave the room is to go to the bathroom. I guess this is what happens when you get two people together who lack basic survival skills. That's just your subjective opinion, man. I'd prefer to think of it as a space maximized for creative output. Huh. Looked like I'd been worried over nothing after all. If nothing else, Moeka didn't seem to feel any amnesty towards Maho, and Maho seemed to be enjoying the company. The thought of the two of them picking out furniture together honestly seemed kinda cute. I was glad I'd come to check on things. I'd be able to sleep just fine tonight. With my task completed, I could have just left, but I decided to stay and watch the two of them a little while longer. Alright, Kiryu, ready to start the interview? Okay. Moeka closed the laptop and moved to the side, then started to go through her bag. So, what exactly are you doing here? An interview. Yeah, an interview? We were supposed to do it in the hotel yesterday, actually. The special is on the front lines of artificial intelligent research. Why does the bear have tan lines? To show it's been at the beach, I guess. I was supposed to write about Dr. Hyacho, what she's done and what she's working on. But that implies that now the bear is naked, even though it normally wears clothes. But it's a bear. But it's got tan lines, which you can see because it's naked. It's also definitely how it works, yeah, of course. I can find all that from the net, but that doesn't make for a good article, you know? A bare naked bear, So I thought maybe I could start with a long interview with Dr. Hyacho. Didn't expect you to be so serious about your job. Why? Did you know her to not be serious about her other job or something, Okabe? I'd like to write. In the Alpha World line, Moika's job was just a cover to hide her work as around her, and even then she'd been fired for incompetence, as I recalled. But in this world line, she seemed to be a hard worker. Was she actually working as a rounder? She's done so much for me, so the least I can do is help her with her work, I think. It would be good for me if more people learned about artificial intelligence too. Sounds like a win-win. You ready, Kiryu? Yeah. Moika nodded and the interview began. Or, it didn't actually. Well, this is a problem. I knew Kiryu wasn't the talkative type, but I didn't think it was this bad. I'm sorry. Even I could tell that Moika was doing a horrible job. It wasn't even an interview. Instead of asking questions, Moika just sat there with a memo pad and ballpoint pen in her hands, completely unmoving. She looked like she was about to cry. How did she think an interview was going to happen? Maho and I tried our best to help move things along, but it didn't work. What should we do? Try again another day? My deadline is... My schedule's really tight. I see. Then we should finish it today. But I don't think we can turn you into an extrovert right away. She could text it to her, she could write it on the notepad and show it to her and just have her say her answers. She could mime it. Like, there's so many ways she could do this besides... But that's the path she took. I'm sorry. I mean, she could go full Celty and not even like text it to her, but just type it on the phone and just show her the phone. And there you go, it's done. Moika apologized in a soft, thin voice. She still looked like she could cry in frustration at any moment. Oh no. Don't get the wrong idea, I'm not blaming you. That was just the prep work. I'm listening to the conditions we need to examine in order to solve the problem. I'm listening. The problem? Yes. We want to complete the interview, that's the problem. And so if Kiryu can't do it, we need someone else to do the job. Someone fairly well informed about information sciences too. And also someone who can help right now. Oh. It was a very, very short list of criteria. Know something about science, be here right now. The two of them looked at me at the same time. Huh? Do you mean me? Yeah, I guess that wasn't a very hard problem. Think you can do it, Okabe? No, I don't know about this. You're perfect. It's pretty similar to your major, so you can ask solid questions. You've got enough latent talent for Dr. Leskinen to fall in love at first sight after all. Don't flatter me. I'm just your typical Japanese university student. I'm joking, but I do think you're perfect for the job. Also the only one available. No, but... Ask for me too. I can pay a little. I like her sending an image of her showing him a screen, which was the solution to this problem, by the way, is to have her just type it on her phone and just show her. That's the solution. But there's a sticker for it that she can send to a... It's... Oh, okay. Huh. An interview, huh? If that would give me an opportunity to observe how they lived and also get me some pay, it wasn't a bad idea. I'd been spending enough time at the lab over the holidays that it had been cutting into my work hours. And lately I'd started dreaming about going to Victor Krandia University too. The chance to talk to Maho Hyajo, a very talented AI engineer, was invaluable. A lot of people probably would have paid money for it. I'll do it. Got translated. Just thank you in the sticker? Okay. It probably did. She's not mute, she just doesn't like to talk. She just doesn't. She is capable of doing it. She does occasionally. I mean, she had an O earlier. Where was the O? Like, she has the occasional line, but she doesn't really... she's very soft-spoken, doesn't do much talking. But it's not a physical handicap. She's capable, she just doesn't. No, she was much more a mess in the first game, but she still clearly has that issue here. If you want my help, I'll be glad to. Thanks, that really is a big help. Thank you. Alright, let's start. Kiryu, how are we going to get this down? Ah, recorder. I'll record it. Then what's the whole... She's got a pad and paper in front of her, but she's going to record it. So why not write the questions on... Oh. Okay. 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 Moeka took out a voice recorder and put it on the desk. It's so we can have the CG, that's why. I can take the lead, right? Yes. Talk freely. I'll edit it later. What should I ask? Just so we're clear, I don't know much more about AI than your average Japanese person. I can just talk about whatever occurs to me, but why don't we make it a discussion format? That would be more interesting, I'm sure. The second she said those words, my mind filled with memories of the past. Also, hey Mitz, how's it going? Welcome to Viper Lane in the chat. How you doing? Well, sure, a discussion format would make things more interesting. Yeah, it's interview time. Sad Okabe, a girl who doesn't talk much, who he just picked up her bra and held it high in the air awkwardly, and Maho. Sad Ocarina times. Sad Ocarina times are all times, unfortunately. All times in Steins Gate 0, at least. Okabe, what's wrong? You okay? Huh? Both Maho and Moeka were staring at me, confused. If you don't want to do it that way... No, it's just fine. Sorry, I just remembered when Krisu said the same thing as you. Krisu did when? When she came to Japan, she gave a speech at the ATF on the time machine. Huh. Yeah. No, she didn't. That happened in another world line. In this world line, Krisu died before she ever gave that lecture on the time machine, or came to the lab. Very sad scientist, yep. No, you know, he just slips about time travel constantly. As soon as he came into the room, he was like, oh, did the world line change and I didn't notice? They just were too busy to pay attention. No, I must have been mistaken. Sorry for getting things off track. No, wait, that didn't happen. And on recording too. On recording too. But he full on just Prince of Persia. He's like, no, that's not how it went. Sorry for getting things off track. Don't worry about me. Yeah, I guess that's okay. So, where do we begin? Let me see. Research into artificial intelligence began almost at the same time computers were born. there repercussions for this? I don't know. The core of the AI we are creating is based off of what's called neural network technology. This technology was first proposed in the 1950s. ENIAC, the world's first von Neumann architecture-based computer, was announced to the world in 1946, so basically the same time, right? The Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, the very first computer, built in 1947 in America. It was used to calculate artillery tables, and the mathematician John von Neumann participated in its development. He used over 17,000 vacuum tubes, and was over 1,000 times faster than existing electronic calculators. However, vacuum tubes at the time were very poorly made, and several would break and have to be replaced each day. Early computers are astoundingly insane. It's amazingly insane. The fact that like old computers would take up rooms. ENIAC is often called the world's first general-purpose electronic computer, but others, such as the Antonov-Berry computers, existed before it did. Thus, it is more precisely described as the first computer that became widely known. The fact that they use like punch cards, like, oh man, computers are really neat. I've never encountered one myself, but yeah, the concept of it is crazy. Yeah, the fact that we started with like putting punch cards into a room-sized machine to something functionally infinitely more powerful than that in everybody's pocket. Oh yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about doing things mechanically. It's a lot easier before, computing. I mean, Abacus is a mechanical computer if you're just trying to computate numbers. It absolutely is. Type of computer architecture first proposed in 1946 by mathematician John von Neumann. Almost all modern computers use von Neumann architecture. Early computers made no distinction between what we would now call an OS and a program, and were composed entirely of physical wiring, greatly limiting their potential. Von Neumann's system was one where not only data but a program itself could be loaded into hardware. Hardware memory is needed from an external source and executed. Slide ruler or slide calculator. Never actually used one myself, but I'm aware of them existing. At the time, computers were basically magic. I mean, to be fair, currently computers are basically magic. Like, I've taken networking classes. I've taken classes on networking and, like, network security. And absolutely the more I learn about, like, packets and the internet, the more amazing it is that, the more it's just magic. Like, the more I learn about how it actually works, the more it's like, it's magic. It's magic. It's magic. The fact that, like, the fact that you guys can see in functionally real time what I am doing right now, it's insane. Even just a small little picture, like, the internet is magic. Once the program was done, it would automatically solve any problem for you, no matter how complicated. Well, that's still true today. So scientists at the time decided that if they wrote a program that was even more amazing, it could solve even more problems. They felt that the ultimate evolution of the computer would be one that could think and learn like a human. But unfortunately, they were unsuccessful. Even now in the 21st century, we've been unsuccessful in creating an AI with general-purpose intelligence like a human. Of course, it's not like we've been sitting on our butts and doing nothing. It's the exact opposite. We failed to create the ultimate artificial intelligence, but we succeeded in bringing all kinds of benefits to the field of information science. For example, OCR technology, which scans an image and reads the letters on it, is similar to the methods that humans use to recognize letters. Optical character recognition technology, the technology that allows a computer to read and recognize letters written on a paper. While humans can easily read text composed of letters, it is extremely difficult for a machine to do so. At first, it was a problem in pattern recognition, which is a field of AI research, but OCR technology has advanced to the point that it's used in many commercial services. But it still gets it wrong sometimes, like a lot of the signs in that GTA remake. It's good, but it clearly doesn't get all of them. Fun thing, that's what most of those CAPTCHA things that you have to solve are. It's machine learning stuff and they'll provide you, like, usually if it's a 2-word captcha system, it provides you with 1 word that it knows and 1 word that it doesn't, and it provides it to enough people that it's like, oh, okay, like 95% of people said the word we didn't know is glorious. That's it. So it's actually part of that. I've heard some rumors that before long, smartphones are going to have voice recognition built into them too. No? Why would you say that? Again, 2011. 2011, long before, you know, Alexa, Amazon Echo, Siri, all those. So yeah, they kind of hit the voice recognition pretty good. That was also a field of study in AI research. But even 60 years after the field got its start, no one succeeded in creating an artificial intelligence that has the comprehensive capabilities of a human. Thumbprints, facial recognition, except for Amadeus, of course. Why did no one succeed? I suppose the simplest way is to say it would be that we don't know how the brain works. Maho tapped her temple with her index finger. Yes, this is the only part of you that's your brain. Just the temple, and I guess the other side too. There's still a lot about the brain we don't know. How can a biocomputer made of just 100 billion neurons possess such power? How is it capable of recording and instantly accessing such a huge volume of information? Why is it capable of things like insight, where 2 seemingly unconnected events are put together? I could come up with all kinds of examples. And took everything else. Yeah, clearly. There are a lot of problems that humans can solve easily, but that computers can't solve at all. There are? Yeah, that's your own fault. Plenty. You could say that our job is going through each one and solving it in turn. I think I'm having a little trouble seeing what you're getting at. Can you give me a concrete example? Maybe I'll tell you about the frame problem. Let's say Kiryu was a robot. Moika had been taking notes, but she suddenly jerked when her name was said. That face is great, though. I'm a robot? More accurately, the AI loaded into a robot. Kiryu, I'd like to use that table. Can you move the voice recorder a little? Moika moved the voice recorder from the table to the floor. Maho started to rummage through her bag as she did so. Also, hey Crescent, how's it going? Welcome to Viper Lane Chat. Oh, I'm sure it's here. Oh, here we go. She took out a small white box, small enough to fit inside her tiny hands. She opened it and extracted the contents. Oh, it was an Oopa, the same thing Mayuri collected. Oh, it's a Stein Gating? It goes Steins Gate-tacular. We're having an interview. Asking questions. AIing. Maho handed it to me, so I took it and touched it. It has the texture of an eraser. Mayuri gave this to me yesterday. Cute, huh? No depression yet? Keyword yet? Yeah, it's only been, what, an hour? Was it really? I never quite understood what girls, particularly Mayuri, would find cute. Yeah, he doesn't. I returned the Oopa to her. She put it back in the box, closed the lid, and put the box in the center of the table. I'm going to do a simple experiment right now. Okabe, order Kiryu to take the Oopa out of the box. Order her? That's right, she's an AI, so just send her a program so that she'll perform the right movements. The right movements? They should be as simple and as specific as possible. She's still got the base. Not trying hard enough, clearly. For example, there are a lot of boxes in this room. But you need to tell her to open the one on the table and not any of the others. You only get to send words, no pointing and saying, this box. Kiryu, do exactly what Okabe orders you to do. Do only what he says, as faithfully as possible, got it? Okay. Let's start the experiment. Okabe, go ahead and give your orders. I didn't quite get the point of all this, but I decided to just say the first thing that came to my mind. Open the pure white box on the table and take out the contents. Kiryu, that's your order. Open the pure white box on the table and take out the contents. Do as you were told, as faithfully as possible. Moika's gaze moved from me to the box on the table. I can't.
え
Huh?
箱を開け
You
るだ
just
け
have to open the box, right? I pointed to the box in the center of the table, uncertain as to what was going on. Moika just looked back at me, clearly upset. Maho nodded, satisfied.
仕方がないのよ
She can't help it, look! Maho picked the box up and showed me the other side. Ah.
な
What is this?
デア・アルテ・ベルフェルト・ニヒト
What she said. German. A phrase found in a letter written by theoretical physicist Albert Einstein to his good friend theoretical physicist Max Born in December of 1926. In English, it translates to God does not play dice. Einstein made great contributions to early quantum theory, but he was skeptical of the field's central idea, that quanta behave in a probabilistic manner. This phrase was intended to express his disagreement with this idea.
神はサイコロを振ら
God
ない
does not play dice, something Einstein said.
これが書いてあったから
Kiryu couldn't
桐生さ
open
ん
the
は
box because of this,
箱を開けられ
right?
なかったのよそう
That's right.
そうなのか
It is. Why?
文字が書いてあること
What about those words means you couldn't follow the instructions? Wasn't a pure white box.
真っ白じゃ
It wasn't pure white.
え
Huh?
桐生さん
Kiryu,
あ
you're
なた
exactly
岡部
correct.
さんの命令は
Okabe's orders were to
真っ
open the
白
pure
な
white
箱を
box and take out the contents,
開
right?
けでも
But this box isn't pure white. It's got something written on it.
それで桐生さんは
That's why she
箱を
wasn't able to open
人
it.
間と違って
Computers aren't like humans. They're only capable of doing exactly what they're told. So you need to be extremely careful with how you order them. Maho put the box back on the table. I couldn't see the letters from where I was.
もう一回だけやってみ
Shall
ま
we
しょ
try
う
it again?
岡部さん
Okabe, try to come up with some appropriate orders based off of what you just learned.
なるほど
I see.
つまり
In other words, the problem was that I said pure white when I shouldn't have,
そ
right?
ういうこと
That's right.
だったら
So I should try making it simpler. Open the box on the table and take out the contents. Kiryu, do what Okabe ordered you to. Exactly what he said, nothing more,
言葉
nothing
の通
less.
りに
Moika turned her gaze once again from me to the box on the table.
できない
I can't do it.
今度は
Now what's the
何が
problem?
問題なんだ
Moika's brow wrinkled a little as she pointed at the box on the table.
これ
This
箱じゃ
this isn't a box.
え
Maho burst out laughing as if she couldn't contain herself any longer. Her smile seemed more childlike than ever. Kiryu, you're a wonderful test subject. I didn't think it would go this
こ
well.
んなにうまく
I had no idea what was going on.
どういう
What do you
ことなんだ
mean? Maho turned the box around and explained the trick to me.
これは箱では
This is not a box. I mean, to be fair, she's not actually an AI. She's just having her stand in as one and act like she's having her act the part, but like, yeah.
また書き足したの
You wrote something on
こ
it?
の言葉が書いてあった
These
から
words meant that Kiryu couldn't tell for sure if it was a box or not, so she couldn't open it,
だか
right?
ら開けらそう
That's right.
いやいやいや
No, no,
表
no.
面に何が書い
It
てあ
doesn't
る
matter what it says. A box is a box, right?
人工知能に
An
はそれは
AI
わから
doesn't
ない
know that. You need to tell it exactly what a box is.
気流ロボが
For this experiment, we assumed that Robo Kiryu. You know, you really could shorten that to Robo-Kai and it would still work. I had a basic idea of what a box
この
was.
通り
But as you've just seen, adjust the information they receive even a little and an AI won't do what you want it to. Also, there's only this one box on the table, but if there were a square stone that looked just like a box, you'd need to order in order to differentiate the two. If the stone was on top of the box, you'd first need to give an order to move it too. Also asking for trouble though. Yakuza 2033 Robo Kiryu. Oh man. Cyber Yakuza 2077 Robo Kiryu wanders the streets. He's been fully augmented, so you need to remove each possibility one by one.
そんなの
You'd never be done, huh?
そうよ
Yup,
キリが
never.
どんな条件が判断に
You
影響
don't
す
know
る
what
かわからない
conditions
か
can
ら
affect the AI's judgment, so you need to include every possibility you can think of.
桐生さん
Mecha
今日の朝食
Himbo.
は何を食べたかしら
Kiryu, what did you have for breakfast today? For breakfast today? What was this about? A jam bun?
あんまん以外に
Did you have any choices besides jam buns for breakfast? A meat bun? Oh, then you picked wrong, sorry. If you had chosen the meat bun, your actions might have changed. You need to take that into account too. Also, there's the weather as well. It's clear out today, but if it was raining, you might have to take that into account. There's also the temperature and the humidity of the room. The color of the table is important as well. Also, you'd need to measure the height from the floor and know what type of material it's made out of. That curtain's open, but what if it was closed? You'd also need to test the cases where it was only half open and 75% open individually as well. This is why programming is hard. Like, I know she's talking about AIs, but like, even in basic programming, things just go wrong. The cleanliness of the curtain might play a factor too. Like, it's why big MMOs and big video games have to go through so much testing, because once something gets that big and intricate, even if you like, Path of Exile is a great example. People always complain that too much loot drops, and like, yes, you can use loot filters, and they encourage you to do so, but people are always like, why don't you just make less loot drop? And they're like, we can't. It's so hard-coded in the base of this game, and so many decisions are based off of this amount of loot dropping. We cannot. It's not as simple as just going, make less loot drop. It's like, so many things are so interconnected to that, it is absolutely impossible. We would irreversibly not irreversibly, because we'd always reverse it. We would totally break the game. It's not doable. Exactly. Any big enough game will have issues like that, where like, oh, okay, there was a small like problem in this quest. Let me just change it so this quest gives accurate rewards. Oh, the final boss is now one-shotting people and the numbers are super weird. Why? Because programming is weird. Either define exact percentages or define percentage range of the curtain openness. But that's still just the curtain. There's so many other things, but still, Legacy code. Oh yeah, we knew she was smart, to be fair. Just because you're not tall doesn't mean you can't be smart. But all the growth went to the brain, yeah. When's the last time it was cleaned? You also need to consider how much you paid and the cleaner's attitude as parameters. And... Stop! I had to stop her before she went any further. There's no way this morning's breakfast could influence whether or not she picks up a box off a table, let alone how clean the curtain is. So could you just take them off the list? Maho's eyes begin to shine. That's it. That's exactly right. Huh? You're exactly right, Okabe. Just makes the game explode. Yup. I mean, that's the game telling you it's fine as it is. It's good. Breakfast and the weather have nothing to do with opening a box. Then... But how did you know that? Huh? Well, I mean, normally... And then finally I understood the point of this experiment. Maho nodded, satisfied. That's right. An AI doesn't know what normal is. I see. That's the frame problem. An AI needs to consider an endless number of attached conditions to know how to execute an order. The vast majority of those conditions can probably be ignored, but the AI doesn't know which to ignore. Which means it has to consider everything. But everything is an infinite set, isn't it? If it has to examine an infinite number of conditions, it will never be able to pick up that box. A human knows without having to think that breakfast and the table's color have nothing to do with opening a box. But an AI doesn't. A human can easily frame which conditions need to be accounted for, but an AI can't. So that's the frame problem. I see. Interesting. Isn't it? But why are humans able to create a frame? We have no idea. It's been one of the mysteries of the AI field for 60 years. One of the goals of the Amadeus project is solving the frame problem. When you look at Krisu, it may feel like she solved it, but we don't know how. In fact, neither does she. You don't know? Didn't you make Amadeus? I can give you a dozen hypotheses if you want them, but we've got no mathematical proof. And anyway, what I made was the mechanism for extracting and digitizing human memories, and then an AI that executed them like a human brain. It's a total simulation of the brain, but that doesn't mean we know how everything works. When Krisu equals loaded, run brain. That's it. That's it. Done. We know that if you create an object with the same mass as the Earth, it will have gravity equal to 1g. That doesn't mean we know how gravity works.
そういえばわかりやすいかしら。
Well, yeah, I mean, it's still, at its core, yeah, it's fine. Is that easier to understand?
全くわかりやすく
Not a lot easier, but I see what
言い
you're
たい
getting
こと
at.
人間のように動く人
You've
工知
created an
能
AI that works like a human, but how it works like a human you don't know.
そういうこと。
That's right.
でもこれだって
But that's still a huge advance in AI research.
神経細胞の挙動を
Someone else helped her.
シミュレー
True,
トする
yeah.
以前から
Research to
行われてい
simulate
た
the functions of a human neuron has been going on a long
だ
time,
けど
but we never found a way to create data that could function effectively. That data is a complicated, intertwined web of everything that humans need, categorized and stored in the brains over decades.
つまり記憶
In
か
other words, memories?
そう
Exactly. The structure of memories has been a mystery for a long
けれ
time,
ど
but thanks to Krisu's research, we were able to extract an entire set of memories and digitize them. Also, we could send them back through time through a microwave where we compressed it to the size of... I don't remember what size that data down to. Was it 32 kilobytes? That impossibly crazy small size. And then we just sent it to somebody's phone and it blasted the data back into their ear and gave them the memories. She's just like, what? And Moiko's furiously scribbling notes.
未だにそのデー
We
タ
still don't know how the
自体
data
は
itself
未
is
知だけど
stored, but we know how to use
そ
it
れを
now.
データ
それが
And that's Amadeus?
ええ
Yes,
そういう
that's
こ
right.
と人工知能研究では
The time is the equivalent space of a floppy disk. Yup. It wasn't, for what it's worth, they used black holes. They used black holes for it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This happens a lot in AI
で
research.
もいずれは必ず使う
Not just black holes, rotating black
人類
holes.
が持つ知能の正体をね
Yeah, Ocarina's brain hurt too. It's fair. But someday I'm going to find out what human intelligence really is.
その時私はようやくクリス
So what she's saying is, from an AI researcher's perspective, all mankind is a miserable pile of secrets. What secrets she's trying to find out. And then Krisu, I'll finally... Way more about them in the coming years, thanks to new telescope. Oh yeah, fair. Maho is Dracula. Maho suddenly fell silent in the middle of her
どう
sentence.
した
What's wrong?
何でもないわ
Nothing.
他に聞きたいこと
Is there anything else you want to know? It doesn't have to be about the frame
問題
problem.
に関係なくても
There's a lot I wanted to ask, but it felt like we had more than enough for Moika's article. I looked at Moika, who hesitated a second before speaking.
何かしら桐生
What is it, Kiryu? Oh, goodbye, Sora. Just the Steins Gate incarnation of Dracula. Clearly.
人工知能が
Is it possible for artificial intelligence to surpass human capabilities?
面白い質問だ
That's
わ
an interesting
現時
question.
点でも
In terms of knowledge, Amadeus probably surpasses anyone in this
ク
room.
リスの記憶を
She has Krisu's memories, after all. There's no matching the knowledge of a genius. I'd gone up against Krisu any number of times and learned that the hard
で
way.
もそれは
Sora, yeah, that's the thing. Zelda's ultimate is so powerful, it has the chance to backfire, at least in the bot. Obviously in Smash it doesn't, but it would be more balanced if it was. But that's just comparing her to us. Like, imagine if in the game it had like a 1 in 10 chance to just be like, and suck her in and kill her. Imagine how funny that would be. Exactly, that's how strong it is. It's very strong, Final Smash.
クリスのベースはクリ
The
ス
memories for
本人
Krisu came from Krisu herself.
人間の
In other
記憶よ
words, they're human memories.
これが人間の能力
That
を
would be the
上回る
greatest. Like,
とみなす
it doesn't even have to be a
こと
high
が必要
chance.
でしょ
Like,
うね
you know what? Just to be fair, set it to the same, I was gonna say set it to the same chance that a hero has to crit, but I think that he actually has a pretty decent chance to crit. Like, even 1 in 10, 1 in 20 would be fine. It wouldn't happen often, but it would be great when it did. We probably need to think about whether this can truly be considered surpassing a human's capabilities.
ただし
But it won't be long before we've got an AI that does more than a human can, I think. Scientists have been saying for a while that by 2050, AIs will surpass humanity. They call it the singularity point, you see. A theory proposed by mathematician Werner Vinge and inventor Ray Kurzweil. Kurzweil? The phrase refers to a point in time where an AI is created whose intelligence exceeds our own. In Japanese, it's referred to as the technological singularity. The theory states that when the singularity point is reached, all further development will be done by AIs without any human intervention. and a non-human-centric civilization will begin to develop. This will mark a major paradigm shift in human history. Kurzweils has said that the singularity will occur sometime around 2045, and many other AI researchers, while they disagree on the exact date, say that it's going to happen as well. Opinions are divided as to what role humanity will play after this. Amadeus' arrival should bring that day much, much closer than we anticipated. Critical failure, yeah, oh man. Autopots. Clearly.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
どういたしまして。
You're welcome. A machine that's better than a human, huh? Seems like something out of a movie. Is that possible?
あら。
Huh, it's hard to believe I'm hearing that from an engineering student. You can't fly like an airplane, can you? And you can't run faster than a bullet train? Or do math as fast as a cheap calculator? Even right now, the abilities of a machine far exceed those of a human. Nobody can say that the brain will be the only exception. There's no miraculous mechanism in this world that science can't explain. It's all physical phenomena, you see. Once you know the underlying principles, you can recreate it artificially. My job is to solve the riddles we don't have answers for and make a true AI. How does that work for an interview, Kiryu? But Moeka just stared at her memo pad and didn't look up. Kiryu? Yes, this is plenty. I'm sure it will be an interesting article.
岡部君も
Alchemy, obviously.
ありがとう。
That's true. It was science fiction. It was science fiction until it was science fact. Though some of the movies got it hilariously close enough, but also not. Like, you know, shooting the bullet at the moon with the face on it made out of cheese. Classic. Classic. But, like, that's not how it works. It is still a explosion-propelled thing. Like, yeah, it's not quite a bullet per se, but, like, is it so drastically different from a fundamental point of view? Obviously, on a mechanical point of view, yes, it's different. There's a whole huge difference between a bullet exiting the muzzle of a gun and a rocket firing into space. But, like, but is it fundamentally that different when you boil it down? The fact that they were on the right track is already amazing. Thank you to Okabe. Yeah, it was really interesting. I wanted to talk a little more, but both Maho and Moeka seemed to have more work to do, so I decided to leave. It's all physical phenomena, huh? Maho thought exactly the way most AI researchers did, that there were no black boxes in the human brain. But I knew the truth. There were things inside the brain that science couldn't explain. Just what the hell is reading Steiner anyway? Was it ever going to be scientifically explained? They have a very tired Maho. Maho quickly choked back her yawn and looked around to see if anyone saw her. There were other people doing the same thing she was, leaning up against the railing of the bridge and killing time. Of course, they were all too focused on themselves to pay her any mind. She planned on spending the day at Ferris's house, taking care of the paperwork left over from the office's temporary closure. But this morning she'd gotten a call from Dr. Leskinen that had sent her hurrying to Tokyo Denkai University. Tokyo Denkai had, it seemed, offered them a temporary room at the school while their office was closed. Dr. Leskinen had called Dr. Izaki at Tokyo Denkai, who had given it to them without a second thought. So now she had decided to go to the new to pay the new office a visit and discuss what they'd planned to do for the future. The Kanda campus for Tokyo Denkai University wasn't that far away from Akihabara, it seemed. Sure, it's a nice day out, though. The sky that poked out between the buildings had the clear color that was unique to winter. She spent the whole of yesterday cooped up inside her room, so the cold air felt good. She crossed her arms and reached upwards. She sure is late, though. The reason she was standing here was that she was waiting for Moeka. Oh, there she is. Sorry, almost there. No hurry, take your time. Thank Mew. Now we know what that says, too. She didn't have to come all this way. Maho didn't know the way to Tokyo Denkai, so Moeka had kindly offered to take her there. And she'd asked for something in exchange. I want to take a picture of you, Dr. Hiajo. I want to put it in the article. Maho didn't really like having her picture taken, but if Moika was nice enough to interview her, she wanted to do everything she could to help. Moika had gone back to her room to get her camera. She said it was close enough to walk, so Maho had decided to just wait. She's always so excited on Ryan, though. She closed her phone and looked up, and then she saw Moika directly under the bridge, running towards her. Sorry to keep you waiting, Dr. Hiajo. You didn't need to hurry so much. You want to take a break? No, I'm fine. Moika went around in front of Moika, in front of Maho. Moika went in front of Moika, somehow. Maho, and started to walk ahead. So you're not going to take the picture first? The year had just started and the subway was empty. Maho decided to take a closer look at Moika, who was standing next to her and grabbing onto one of the handles. Is there an advertisement at the top right for just underwear? It definitely seems to just be just underwear. Can't read what it says, but Moika realized she was being watched and tilted her head. Then she took out her phone and started to type. Maho's phone suddenly rang at the bottom of her bag. She just received a Ryan message. Who could it be from? Who knows? Could be anyone. What's up? I see, so we can talk on the train like this. Feels strange talking to you on Ryan when we're right next to each other. You don't look like you were doing well. You didn't look like you were doing well. It may have just been my imagination. Moika's expression didn't change much, but Maho thought that didn't mean she had no feelings. When she looked into Moika's thin, pretty eyes, she could see that she was an interested observer of many things. Maybe that's what you'd expect from a writer. Sorry to worry you. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. 2 pictures of yourself deeply depressed in a corner. You really sent a non-confusing message there, Kiryu. Thank you. Oh. It's true, double the depression, in fact. I'll make sure you get to Denkai Yu, Dr. Hiajo. It's weird being called Dr. Hiajo. It's weird? Yep. You don't have to call me doctor both in the real world and on Ryan. Let's be a little more informal. But then what do I call you? Just call me by my name. That's what you do for Okabe, right? That's because he's a student and younger than me. You can treat me the same way. We'll be roommates for a while, and we're both about the same age, so how about we call each other Moika and Maho? It's perfect. You would never tell by looking at them, but Maho and Moika were only a year apart. And Maho was 21 and Moika 20, which meant that she was the older of the two. Maho couldn't help but wonder what kind of deal you had to make with God to get that height and those voluptuous breasts. Ah, no way. I've never called anyone by the first name. I'd be too nervous. Then how about Kiryu and Hiajo? Please be one of the few friends I've got in Japan. Got it, will do. Okay, then try saying it now. Moika suddenly jerked upright and opened her eyes wide. Here? Now? Yeah. Maho nodded at Moika's whispered question. Panicked Upa. If we're doing it, I want to start now. But, like I just said, I'm really not good at talking to people. Really? I thought you were just nervous because Okabe was with us last night. Like you're the kind of person who gets nervous around the opposite sex. It's true that when I talk to men, I get even more nervous. In other words, when it's just girls, it's not so bad that you can't talk. Well, maybe. Then since we're both girls, let's get along. I know, how about this? When it's just the two of us, how about we try to talk in person instead of Ryan as much as we can? You're less bored with someone to talk to. If you're going to be a writer for a magazine, I think it'd be a good chance to practice, don't you? Line of my he's staring blankly. Okay, I'll do my best. Moika seemed to steel herself and then turned towards Maho.
Hiyajo.
Hiyacho.
Yoroshiku.
Thank you for your help with this. Yeah, you too, Kiryu.
よろしくね桐生さん
The train arrived at their station. Oh, I should have checked one of those signs were there when she finally disappeared. Too late. The area around Tokyo Denki was quiet. It's probably the same setup as it was in the last game, honestly. Moika told her that the surrounding areas were offices and government buildings, which meant that at this time of year, there was almost no one around. Excuse me. She felt bad, but decided to have Moika wait outside. Could chance it, clearly. The school is still on break. Yeah. School is still on break, so she could have waited in one of the rooms on campus, but Moika had refused.
じゃあ終わったら連絡するわ
Okay, I'll call you when I get out. She split up with Moika. I was gonna say, would that game even have been out by now? But it must have been. There's no way... Yakuza 2 release date? Yeah, 2006. Okay. So it wasn't even 2 and it was 1, you're right. Yeah. 06. Yeah, so it definitely would have. Maho's got very lost on her way to Izaki's lab. The school was completely empty because of the break, so she couldn't ask anyone. In the end, she had to call Dr. Leskinen and get detailed instructions. A letter was taped to the door, marked Dr. Izaki's lab. The letter had a photo of a smiling Dr. Leskinen, along with some low-resolution text that looked like it was directly printed from a PC screen. For immediate release, Global Brain Science Comprehensive Research Organization, Japanese Office Prep Room. The founder of this establishment, Alexis Leskinen, has a request. If everyone who saw this donated just $1, I can eat a can of Odin right now! Yeah, he loves this stuff so much. Kiryu is an old man, huh? No matter how formal the setting, when the professor wanted to tell a joke, he'd do it. He really was just like a child. But his carefree personality let Maho and Krisu relax and enjoy their work. Let's play some of these here. Oh, okay. Yeah, Zero would be hard to have take place in the release here. Very hard. Suddenly remembering Krisu made her heart ache a little. She suddenly realized that her sudden... That's a lot of suddens. That her sudden change of address, coupled with living with a person she'd barely even met, was taking its toll on her. Today she'd finally got the chance to talk to her again. Or, more accurately, the memories she left behind. Professor, Dr. Leskinen? When she stopped inside the lab and called the professor's name, the giant in the back came running to greet her. Hey, Maho, thanks for coming. Welcome to our powered-up prep room. Huh. So, this table and 2 sofas are our powered-up prep room, huh? Yes, there's simplicity at it. They say simplicity is the secret key to the truth, do they not? Who says that? I do! The professor clapped his hands and laughed. Maho ignored him and went to sit on the sofa. He didn't seem hurt. Now then, about our future plans. Oh, sorry. I want to boot up Amadeus. Just give me a second. She took out her laptop and put it on the table. Best at making me not want to do the worst, even though he is. He's so good. Her OS, a Linux variant customized for research purposes. Operating system, basic software for a computer that controls the entire system and allows other programs to operate in parallel. An OS software developed in 1991 to be compatible with the general-purpose Unix OS. At the time, Unix was extremely expensive and not easily available, so Linus Torvalds, then a university student, developed Linux as an alternative. The code is open source, and programmers from all around the world contributed to its development until it reached a point where it could be used for commercial purposes. Many modern web servers use Linux. Boot it up and display the login screen. Maho typed in her account name the same way she'd done 1,000 times before. Salieri. For just a moment, she stared at the letters of her account name. She quickly put in the password and called up the desktop. And before long, Krisu appeared on the screen. It's been a long time, Maho. A long time? We just talked 2 days ago. That was an emergency. It didn't count. And even besides that, we haven't gotten to talk much lately. It's not my fault. We were testing. During Okabe and Krisu's communication test, Maho and Dr. Leskinen had avoided talking to Amadeus to keep from adding noise to the experiment.
岡部さんも
Not that Okabe's talked to me a lot lately, though.
もしかして
Are you two maybe meeting without telling me?
私に内緒でよく一昨日も一緒にいまし
You
た
were
し
together 2 days ago, after all. What? I told you, it's not like that. Where do you get these delusions, that everything in the world is about romance? All taste is the one D word.
妄想じゃありません
It's not a delusion, it's a highly accurate hypothesis based off a calm, dispassionate observation and analysis. Man, like, for some reason I was thinking about this earlier today, like, it would be so hard to actually recommend Chaos Head to anyone. Like, I think most people who can handle a bit of depression and blood would really like Steins Gate. Hard stop. I would find it so hard to recommend Chaos Head, but also the fact that it was so viscerally unpleasant at times has left an impact. Imagine if you hadn't played it and you got to the bit in Robotics Notes and the music starts playing, you'd go, oh, that's weird. Whereas, like, if you played it, you'd be like, no, 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 no. Like, I absolutely think it's very important that, like, we went through it to before we kept going through more of the series. But man, it would be hard to recommend that game to people. It is, by design, just... Even the things that aren't Root B unpleasant, there's a lot of stuff that he had delusions about that's like, no, I can't in good faith recommend that to anyone. Nope, can't. Just, he comes so close to doing so many things. I just can't. But I'm glad we played it. But it's caused certain musical tones and words to have very strong reactions. Or like every thought he has, yeah. Yeah, like, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad, and I am glad we went through it. But if somebody came up to me and was like, oh man, I've been reading up on the SciTV series, should I play Chaos Head? I'd probably be like, no. I'd probably give them the longer version, depending on the person, but... Like, it's good, but like, man, it's like, I'd have that list of like, does graphic depictions of violence bother you? Does graphic depictions of coming as close to possible sexual assault bother you? Like, I mean, it is canonically the first released game. The thing is, you definitely don't need any knowledge of it to play Steins Gate. Are you bothered by creepy people? Are you bothered by playing as the creepy person? Not just having a creepy person in the game, but having that be the protagonist who you embody. Start with Chaos Head is, if you're playing the games in the order they released, you start with Chaos Head. I am glad we didn't straight start with that. I'm glad we drew people in with Steins Gate and then went into that. Yes, specifically Robotics Note clearly is enhanced, yeah. Yeah, I'd absolutely... Anybody who wanted to get in, I'd be like, play Steins Gate. Just play Steins Gate. If you want more after that, cool. If you want more after that, go Steins Gate 0, which is what I did. And then if you want to get into the wider world, then do what I did after, which is what we're doing now. Yeah, oh boy. Sorry, just the D word set me off on that. I was literally thinking about that earlier today, and I don't know what sparked it. I was like, man, would I even recommend it to someone? Okay, where'd that? If you like that stuff so much, maybe you should have majored in it. Though, given how totally wrong you are, you probably wouldn't have graduated, let alone get your doctorate. Did Dr. Leskinen just clap at the, you should have majored in romance theory, but you're so bad at it you wouldn't even gotten your doctorate in romantics. Dr. Leskinen brought his hands together in an exaggerated motion. Feels like it's been so long since I've seen this. Used to be I could always find you wherever you were on campus. Because I could always hear you yelling at each other. Come on, Professor, stop joking around. Just means that you're very close. You two are like sisters. Now, let's get this meeting started. We need to talk about our future plans. The person who uses their time most efficiently wins. That's another of my great quotes. I want some music. Krisu, can you play me something? Sure. A soft piano medley began to play from the laptop speakers.
これは
This...
先輩
Maho, do you remember?
私と先輩の
It's the song that brought us together.
曲ですよ
She'd never forget. It was what brought them together a year ago, and it was the symbol of their relationship. Alexa Krisu. Oh man. Yeah. A year ago, in September of 2009, Krisu had officially joined the Brain Science Institute. She completed the graduate school's doctorate program in May of that year, and had only turned 17 in July. Maho herself had joined the Brain Science Institute at an extremely young age, but her record had been beaten by quite a lot. Krisu was a genius. Everyone who met her could tell. Dr. Leskinen had been Krisu's advisor during the program, so Maho had met her several times. And that was enough to tell her that Krisu was different. Krisu never showed off her own talents. Actually, she didn't seem to think of herself as particularly intelligent at all. That actually made it a little hard for the people around her to approach her. Whenever you talked to Krisu, you were forced to realize that there was a gap between you and her that could never be erased. Which is why Okabe got along with her so well. He saw no gap. At all. If anything, he thought the gap was in his favor. She'd learned later from Dr. Leskinen that things had been the same in grad school. It was rumored that the real reason she'd come to America from Japan at the age of 11, no matter what she wanted, no matter where she lived, she was cut off from the people around her. That was what it meant to be a genius like her? Since Maho was a girl too, and close to her age, she actually considered Krisu more of a rival. Since they were working in the same field, they were going to be compared, and she didn't want to lose. Maybe that's why Maho had never thought of going to talk to her. And Krisu was so busy learning how to work at the lab that she had never come to talk to Maho. But then, 2 weeks after Krisu came to the lab, a certain classical song had changed their relationship forever.
再セッ
And play. Really does know no bounds. It's true. It's true. He's got the highest of IQs, and... Yep. There are two types of people in the world, those who worked better with music, and those who worked better with silence. From a brain science perspective, the idea that you could concentrate better with music was sheer nonsense. Whether you were aware of it or not, the sound was vibrating your eardrums and your brain was continuously analyzing it. But if there was ever a public debate on the subject, Maho would want to take the first position. Theory and feelings were different. You could concentrate best with music in the background, and you could be more creative. But there was one condition.
流していて集中
The song has to have been composed by Mozart. Honestly, it's more that it just has to not have lyrics, in my opinion. I still listen to music with lyrics while I work, but like if I really just need to concentrate, it's usually like something without lyrics. Mad scientist, it's so cool, son of a bitch. Maho whispered to herself as she turned towards the computer. She'd been running a patch on some equations for 2 full days and had finally completed. Today, she was going to spend the whole day analyzing the output. Man, you know, I feel like that's another programming mood right there. My code was compiling for 2 days. Now I can actually do something. It was Saturday, so she was the only person in the lab. This was the one day she had this whole huge space to herself. So she decided to play Mozart's 11th Sonata from the speakers, not her headphones. She didn't intend to pay any attention to the music. This was more like a ritual she needed in order to concentrate. It was a warm-up exercise before she could dive into a sea of numbers and equations. Once she dove in, she wouldn't need it anymore, so she simply stopped hearing it. She stopped seeing everything around her, too. All she saw was the numbers and equations. All that was in her head were numbers and equations. All that was left was a thinking machine named Maho Hyacho. Her mind left behind the bonds of her physical body, and the speed of her thoughts accelerated towards the infinite. It was time for another fun journey.
おはようございます
Good morning. Let's have a replay of that one. Good. Someone suddenly whispered in her ear, and Maho jumped out of her chair, lost her balance, and fell. It's not nice to sneak up on somebody. She looked up and saw Krisu staring down at her, beginning to panic. I'm sorry, I didn't think you'd be so surprised.
クリス驚かせないでよ
Don't scare me like that.
何度か呼んだん
I
ですけど
called your name a bunch of times, but you didn't seem to hear me. It's like all you could see were numbers and equations. All you could hear were numbers and equations. Oh. Maho stood up and sat back in her chair.
ごめんなさい
Sorry, I was focusing so much I didn't hear you.
はい
Yeah, I
そう
thought
だと
so.
思ってました
And you should have just left me alone. Maybe Krisu could tell she was thinking that, because she quickly added,
申し訳ないとは
I
思
felt
ったん
bad
です
about it, but since I'd run into you on a weekend, I thought I should say something.
それに
You seemed like you just started, so I didn't think I'd be a bother.
今来たの
Did you just get here?
はい
Yeah, I thought I'd be the only one here. I'm surprised.
驚きました
Then Maho realized something was strange.
あなた
You said you just got here, right?
だったら
So how do you know I'd only just started working?
それは
Oh, because... Krisu pointed to the speakers.
まだ第一楽
You're
章
still at the start of the first movement.
ケッヘル331
K331, Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in A major, first movement. Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in A major, the Turkish March. Excuse me. K331 refers to the song's Kochel number, which is a numbering system developed by Ludwig von Kochel for the purpose of indexing all of Mozart's works, so that people worldwide could have a standard method of referring to them. Buddy, could you stop with the hiccups? That would be great. Cultural numbers are given in order of the time of the song's creation, but as new works are discovered, or its discovery that a song actually came out in a different year, they're sometimes updated. In the latest version of the cultural system, the Piano Sonata number 11 in A major is K6311I. However, the original numbers were popular for many years and are still commonly used today.
第一楽章
Yes, clearly it's the elitist of piano sonatas.
あなた
You like Mozart?
かじった程度です
I just know a little about him.
それに
And it's really more that I just like this song.
世間的には
The Turkish March is more popular, but
私は
the melody in the first movement feels so much more pleasant, doesn't it? The third movement of Mozart's Piano Sonata number 11 in A major. This sonata is composed of 3 movements, but the third movement in particular is exceptionally famous and often performed on its own. A normal sonata consists of 4 movements, an allegro, a slow movement such as an andante, or largo, a dance movement, and a faster finale. Since the piano sonata only has 3 movements, it violates the standard structure, but this can be considered another example of Mozart's genius.
方が心地いいですね
私も同意
I
見よ
agree.
よかった
I'm so glad.
私も
Whenever I'm really trying to focus, I put Mozart on in the background.
科学者としての
It's not a very scientific thing to do, I know. Maho couldn't help but laugh as she realized Krisu was saying the same thing she'd said earlier. In the 2 weeks since Krisu had joined the team, Maho hadn't been quite sure how to deal with her, but now she wanted to know a little more. So she used the signal her coworkers always use when they wanted to take breaks.
コーヒーでも飲む
Want to get some coffee?
賛成です
Sounds great.
先輩に
There's a bunch of stuff I wanted to ask
質問
you.
もありますし
As she watched Krisu follow her, filled with energy, she was reminded of the pet dog she used to have. But later she would realize that there was one of the things that made Krisu cute. She got 2 hot coffees from the lab coffee machine, and the 2 of them talked about their research for a while. It must have been a strange sight, 20-year-old Maho and 17-year-old Krisu debating the latest developments on cerebral physiology while drinking coffee out of paper cups. Ah, paper. I know that's a common thing, but man, hot coffee in paper cups just burns, like, always. Like, you gotta have one of those, like, little cardboard things around it. Although, maybe I'm just weak. Same thing, yeah. I saw cerebral in a P and my brain just filled it in. It's like, yes, that's the word. And then the brain went, oh wait, no! We got it wrong! Backtrack! The study of the cerebrum, the part of the brain that controls human and animal actions. In recent years, the field of AI has achieved many things with a technology called neural networks that mimics the structure of the human brain. Because of this, one popular approach has been the use of an information science-based approach. Use of an based approach to cerebral physiology. But the 2 of them realized that since they'd never had someone of the same sex and age to work with, these conversations were a big help to both of them. Having the older Maho around must have been a particularly big help to Krisu. Once in a while, Krisu would still call her senpai, the Japanese word for an upperclassman or more senior colleague.
そういえば
You know, I once heard that Einstein liked to play the violin. You seem to have a lot of respect for Mozart. Maybe it's a tradition for scientists to like Mozart. If that's true, then it's an honor. After a short debate about their work, the two of them talked about Mozart until they finished their coffee. Just says, cup of coffee. After she had a real conversation with Krisu, Maho realized she was totally different than her first impression. Every time she spoke, she'd smile or pout. It was adorable to watch. But the only thing she had in common with most people her age was her appearance. She was a genius. Do you know what Einstein said when someone asked him what death meant to him? No, what did he say? Death means not getting to listen to Mozart anymore. It's a fairly famous phrase in Japan. Death means not getting to listen to Mozart anymore. It was a more romantic phrase than she'd expected from Einstein, the Einstein she thought she knew. Cups, I'm sure. Oh, absolutely, yeah. I had no idea. Einstein said that, huh? No, he didn't. Huh? Well, to be completely accurate, we can't prove that he didn't say it, but at least there are no records of it. What do you mean? Krisu smiled and put her finger up to her lips. A book that was published in Japan a long time ago had that phrase as a quote from another biographer. But the Japanese book didn't specify which biography they got the quote from, and no one has ever found it. So the author made it up? Sheesh. We can't prove that, so we can't be totally sure. But I think those words are very much what a logical man like Einstein would say. Also realizing we've been going for like 2 hours and haven't saved. When in doubt, save. Logical? Yes, because once you're dead, you can't listen to Mozart, right? Of course not. Yes, of course not. Once you're dead, you can't listen to anything at all, not just Mozart. Thus, the statement is true. See? Logical, right? You're very interesting, you know that? Intelligence and childishness all wrapped up in the same brain. I'm not childish. Sorry. I know it's a bit late, but it's a pleasure to be working with you, Krisu. Maho offered her hand, and Krisu shook it with a smile. Krisu's hand was warm. Coffee will do that. You too, Maho. Mozart had brought the two of them together. Krisu was a child beloved by God. Everyone was amazed and astonished by her unmatched creativity. Everyone including, of course, Maho. Something... felt like she had to remember something important. Good morning. The same scream. It's the exact same one. Someone suddenly whispered in her ear, and Maho jumped off the sofa. I mean, you know, the candle that burns brightest burns the fastest. What? Ah, Krisu was right. At some point, Dr. Leskinen had picked up the laptop and taken it behind Maho's back. Krisu was on the screen laughing at her. Evidently, the professor had brought it close to Maho's ears and made Krisu whisper to her. You were just in your concentration mode, weren't you? No matter how many times the professor called your name, you wouldn't come at it from your little world. Oh. Sorry. I'm impressed that you can continue your research even while this emergency is going on. The professor put the laptop back on the table and sat in the sofa across from her. And then they started the meeting to discuss their future plans with the professor. One of the options that came up was going back to America. Something kept bugging Maho the whole time during the meeting. When she was remembering how she'd met Krisu, she was also remembering something else. Salieri, Maho's user account name. She picked it a month after Krisu had died. For some reason, she couldn't stop thinking about it. After she finished her meeting with Dr. Leskinen and left the school, she realized it had started to rain. Huh, so it did rain. Japan's weather reports are surprisingly accurate. Yeah, Gejine knows her stuff, yo. I wonder if Kiryu stopped in some shop somewhere. It wasn't Gejine anyway, I don't know why it defaulted to Gejine, but you know, she knew the weather too, I guess. Power of Iris unraveled. Just as she went to take out her phone and send a message to her, she got a message of her own from Krisu. It was fun talking with Sawayama today. Tell me about Okabe next time. I had fun too. I've said this before, but it's not like that. Garo Froggy spam. She was about to snap and say something back when she saw Moika in her field of vision. She opened her folding umbrella and was crouching by the side of the road with her phone out. When Maho approached, she saw a flower blooming between the asphalt and shrubbery. Moika was trying to take a picture of it. Sorry, Kiryu, I'm done. Moika looked up and opened her mouth hesitantly. Hiyajo. Maho was happy that she said her name. You were taking pictures of the flowers? Yeah. Moika nodded and looked back towards the ground. There was a tiny flower blooming in the asphalt where the asphalt met the shrubbery. There was no other flower like it in view. The wind must have brought it here. The flower's color was striking, but something, perhaps the rain, made it look sickly. Moika took a picture of it. Then another, and another. The umbrella in her hand seemed to be stopping her from taking a good picture. Want me to hold your umbrella? No, I'm fine. It's fine, it's fine. Maho practically yanked the umbrella out of Moika's hands, immediately dumping water all over everybody. Thank you. You're welcome. Double umbrella action. When you've got an umbrella in each hand, you are unstoppable. Moika used both hands to steady her camera. Then when it came into focus, she pressed the button. Ah, you see, you need both hands for the QTE, that's what it is. A moment later, she stood up satisfied. I got a good photo. I'm all set. Were you getting ready for my portrait? Moika shook her head. I can't take your picture. It's raining. I always take pictures of landscapes. You like taking photos? Moika shook her head again. It's proof. Proof of where I was today. Proof? Yeah. What do you mean? And then she heard the sound that meant she'd received a Ryan message. Is that from Krisu again? I got one too. It's from Ferris. Ferris? Disaster, Nya! The 314th prophecy of Fatima has come to pass, Nya. The hearts of men have lost their will to believe, and the seal created by the sacrifice of the ancient Incan civilization has been broken, Nya. It's only a matter of time before the Dark God, the master of Pluto, revives Nya. A dwarf planet discovered in 1930 by astronomer Clyde Tombaugh. For years it was defined as the 9th planet from the Sun, and due to its status as the most distant planet, it has often appeared in fiction. However, later developments in astronomy revealed that there were many other planets that were roughly the same size as Pluto, and a fierce debate ensued as to whether they should be counted as well. In the end, the International Astronomical Union adopted the term dwarf planet in 2006, and Pluto was classified as one of those. Not only the Earth, but the whole Galactic Federation is in danger, Nya. Summon the House of Lords and the Senate immediately, Nya. The president is missing, but I'm sure he's flown off on Air Force One or something to fight the enemy himself, Nya. I'll start the ceremony to seal him away once more, Nya. I want you to buy time for me until it finishes, Nya. Wait, what are you talking about? That was a joke, Nya? But really, there's big trouble, Nya. What happened? I'll explain later, Nya. There's a critical mission I want you to do before you head back to the condo, Nya. Both Maho and Moika looked at each other confused by Ferris's strange message. Welcome, both of you, Nya. The time limit approaches, but there's still time, Nya. Is everything ready, Nya? It's ready. Yes? Then let us begin, Nya. This operation name is... All Night Cinderella Girls Secret Party, Shocking Sleepy Confessions, Nya. Why does one get a onesie and one get sexy underwear and one gets to have normal pajamas? Why? Maho Kuma. Yeah, I mean, yes. And just snacks. I really don't know most. Look like potato chips, some sort of maybe like caramel cubes, maybe? There's definitely pochi, some sort of like chocolate ice cream bars. Maybe not ice cream. I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to. Oh, in the back are those little like bear cookies with chocolates. Yeah. Covering all the bases, I guess, yeah. Also, like, one person looks ecstatic, the other two are like, what's wrong, you two? You're so low energy, nya. We don't get many chances to have a girls' night. Let's have fun, nya. I guess we can? Here's the fun, but I don't think that the important mission you had for us was skipping dinner. The two of them had suddenly gotten a message that Ferris was having a girls' party that night. Ferris had asked them to skip dinner so they'd have empty stomachs for the party. I mean, to be fair, that is the best way to have more snacks. And both Maho and Moika had done so. Okay, eat whatever you want, nya. I bought something a little pricey for the cakes and ice cream, nya. Ferris started to rummage through the plastic convenience store bags with a smile. Normally, Ferris acted like she was rich, and in fact, she was rich, so she could have easily purchased the most expensive cake that either of them had ever tasted. But she realized that the right cakes and ice cream for a party like this were the ones you got at a convenience store, and she purchased them there without any hesitation. Maho thought that must be the one reason why the customers and maids at May Queen admired her so much. She'd been working short-staffed at May Queen since the start of the year, so it had to have been hard. But she wasn't showing any signs of exhaustion at all. I can't imagine Ferris tired for some reason. What's wrong, Maho nya? Did you fall in love with Ferris, nya? I always love it when girls fall in love with me, nya. What? It's not like that. Don't be so embarrassed, nya. I'm happy you seem to like your present too, nya. Maybe, yeah, that's fair. Neighborhood? That sounds bad. That's true, but when you think of cats, you think sleeping all the time, doing nothing. Ah, all the cats channel their energy into her. Ah, okay. Those panda pajamas look great on you now, just as I thought. Oh, that's why she picked them out for each of them. Got it. It's not that I like them. It's just rude not to wear something that's a gift. The hooded panda pajamas that Maho was wearing were a gift from Ferris. I don't mind the fact that it fits perfectly, but this is definitely a child size. Can you blame her? She picked it out, it fits perfectly. If it's a child size, that's neither here nor there. You're like a little doll, so I'm sure anything looks good on you, Maho-nyan. Stop calling me that, I said. And please don't think you're going to make me wear a different pair of animal pajamas every day. Yeah? What? Maho-nyan, can you read minds, nya? How did you know I already had a week's worth lined up, nya? You already bought them? Just as Maho was starting to realize that Ferris was just toying with her, Moika was covering her mouth with her hand and trying not to laugh. It's honestly hard to imagine Kiryu laughing. Moinya? Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but... Maho saw Moika smile for the first time, so this was how she smiled. It took Maho-kuma, not just Maho-kuma, but the threat of 6 other Maho pajamas. Moinya, that smile is so cute, nya. Let me see more. Nya. Oh no. Ferris's eyes sparkled in the dim light. Without warning, she leapt upon Moika and started to tickle her sides.
Oh no!
Stop it! Stop! Moika was evidently really vulnerable to tickling. She squirmed as tears formed in her eyes as she started to gasp for air. Let her breathe at the least. No, no! I feel like I'm doing something. I mean, if you don't let her breathe, you'll be doing murder. So, you know, that's naughty. Yeah. Okay, the Maho face here is great. It's just a great face. Ferris backed off as Moika panted and gasped for breath. It sure is amazing, though. Sure is. Yeah. Ferris and Maho looked up at each other and spoke. An amazing wreck, nya. Oh, of course. Moika was wearing a crimson baby doll as her pajamas. It's a kind of adult lingerie that you could never imagine a girl like her wearing. Of course, she seemed unaware of this, and had seemingly only chosen it because it was easy to move around in. But with Moika's natural proportions, she ended up looking incredibly seductive. And on top of that, when her massive breast shook as Ferris tickled her, even Maho felt a little strange. Sorry. Moika apologized as she gasped for breath. I'm surprised that wasn't picked up by Ferris, though. Maho shook her head to drive away the strange feelings. Strange feelings. Oh, whatever. Okay, let's start the party! Okay, bring the chilled drinks, Nyan. Tonight, no one gets any sleep, Nyan. I mean, no one gets any sleep was Ferris's idea of a joke. She had work early the next morning. The party lasted exactly 2 hours, and they talked the whole time. Actually, Ferris talked the whole time, and Maho and Moika would occasionally answer. At most sleepovers, girls talked about fashion and romance maybe, but these girls weren't interested in those things. Instead, they talked about work and their futures. It was fun to see a different side of each other as they spoke. Moika, for instance. I'm writing a novel for fun. She said she'd been reading one of the web novels that were popular lately and had decided to write one herself. And what's more, she said it was a romance with some really steamy scenes. Let me read it now. I can't. I haven't even finished the first chapter. She writes steamy romance novels. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's no. Fanfic is when it's an established universe. She's just a writer. Not that fanfiction writers aren't also writers, but still. Moika refused, but Ferris and Maho made her promise to let them see it when it was finished. Ferris had something surprising to say too. I'm not going to quit being a maid, but I want to get married now. I want a lot of kids now. Ferris had lost her family when she was young, so she wanted a big family of her own, and as soon as possible. It was probably going to be a very lively family. Yeah, probably. For the last 30 minutes, Ferris talked Maho into giving a lecture on AI research. Imagine an AU where Okabe and Ferris actually get together. Imagine both of them in full Chuni mode, striking poses in front of like 5 kids. Imagine the whole family just striking ranger poses. They'd be either the best family or insufferable to everyone, but it would be amazing. The parent-teacher conferences. I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean to get caught cheating. I thought I contained the power in my right arm. But it started to get out of control. I couldn't help it. Oh, I'm sure. 100% there's fanfiction of that. 100% likely. There's no chance that doesn't exist somewhere. It's a popular enough series and a fun enough idea. There's no chance that doesn't exist. Maho gave a slightly less formal version of the interview she'd done yesterday. She talked about the framing problem and about Amadeus and about a future where AI surpassed humans. Ferris was interested in more than anime culture. She was into technology and gadgets as well, and she paid close attention to what Maho had to say. But as Maho spoke, she realized that Moika was starting to look depressed. Kiryu, what's wrong? You getting tired now? That's not it. I'm scared of the future. Scared of the future? Yeah. Once there's an AI that's better than humans, I think a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. I'll probably be one of them. That scares me. So that was it, Maho thought to herself. Maho had only lived with Moika for a few days, but she started to figure out her personality. She was a very pretty girl, with amazing proportions, they keep telling us, and good at her job, but Moika seemed to think she was worthless. She thought that nobody needed her, and that if somebody better than her appeared, they would quickly take her place. And once that happened enough that there was no place left where she belonged, then what would happen to her? Well, we found out in Steins Gate. That scared her. It's okay, Kiryu. That's right now, you don't need to worry now. There'll always be a place for you at the Maid Cafe. I don't have any special talents or smarts like you two. Anyone can take my place. Anyone can do a better job than me. I'm not as talented as you two. So what? So someone could take your place. So someone's better than you. So what? Mahonya? There are a lot of scientists who are more talented than I am. And maybe someday the AI I invent will write a paper better than I ever could. But so what? At Dr. Leskinen's lab at Victor Krondia University, the nearest desk to the entrance is my seat. The door wasn't put on right, and the wind always blows through it, and you can always hear people chatting in the hallway. But it's my seat. Even if the universe itself were to end, I'm not giving that seat up to anyone. Even if a more talented scientist or a more talented AI wants it, I'm not giving it up. I won't tell you that no one can take anybody else's place. That's just a platitude. There really aren't that many jobs in society where you're truly irreplaceable. That doesn't mean you have to just hand everything over. Because I'm me, not someone else. I am me. And it doesn't matter how talented you are. Let's say there was a bio-robot that was identical to Ferris right down to the molecular level, and he could do a better job of serving you than she could. First of all, heresy. Heretic, get out. I'd still rather ask Ferris. Even if it cost me 10 times or 100 times more, I wouldn't ask the robot. There's no real reason for this. I just want to drink the tea she makes me. That's what I'm saying. So, Maho was getting so emotional she didn't know what to say next. She realized that Moika and Ferris were staring at her in shock. Sorry, I just kinda... I am me. Maybe I am. Moika smiled a little. Ferris was no more and you needed more, yeah, I suppose. Then you can go for Mecha Ferris. Look at the side cat mouth. Doesn't even make sense. Doesn't matter. Ferris pulls it off. The next instant, Ferris was on top of her, squeezing her tight.
It's magic.
Doesn't make any sense. Who cares? Oh, wait. What's going on? Ferris was smiling at her with dewy eyes. That was so moving, Nya. I didn't realize you loved me so much. I love Mew too. I'll make you tea for the rest of your life, Nya. Huh? Is that what I just said? The next few minutes were a struggle to stop Ferris from rubbing her face against her cheek. Well, we had fun, but now back to depression. I sighed a little as I got off the train at Akihabara. Come to think of it, I've come to Akihabara 5 days in a row. New Year's was our trip to the shrine. On the 2nd, I'd come to deal with the aftermath of that, and then the world line had changed. On the 3rd, I'd come to check on Maho and Moeka. On the 4th, that is yesterday, Mayuri had invited me to a New Year's party at May Queen. I hadn't come to Akihabara every day like this since last summer. It's real subtle. She's already a great character, but like little moments like that where like the passion comes out and like you get that little extra bit of character stuff. It's really good. What's going on with Ferris, you think? I don't know. I never can tell what she's thinking. If you could look into Ferris's brain, it would just be the word Nya with different exclamations and punctuations behind it repeated 1 billion times. That's it. There's the reason I brought Mayuri to Akihabara. Ocarine, big trouble, Nya. Tonight, I do want to read that, but there's a lot there and it's going too quick. Hold on, can I scroll back up when it's done? Holy crap. Basically, something bad had happened at Ferris's house, and she wanted my help. I want to be able to read it. Did something happen to Yajo and Moeka? As soon as I can go back to it, I will. Everything seemed normal when I talked to Ferris yesterday. That's not true. Ferris has been working really hard the last few weeks, and she's getting really tired. But she never complains, no matter how hard it gets. She's always cheerful. But this time, she's actually come to you for help. Something really bad must have happened. Maybe? Alright, can I actually read all that? Okay, big trouble now. Why does it scroll so much slower down? Tonight, the 32,000th year cycle will complete and planets shall align and the stars become right now. The last seal will break and he who waits dreaming shall receive the lost continent of Relay return, yeah. Oh, we're going full Cthulhu then. But anyway, there really is trouble now. I'm really sorry, but come to Ferris's house as soon as you can, yeah. Ferris has to work all day today, so you're the only one I can ask, yeah. You know what I mean. You'll know what I mean when I get here, yeah. Meow, and invite Mayushi too. Make sure you do, yeah. An ancient island in the Cthulhu mythos that fell beneath the sea during an earthquake. Now it is an undersea city located at 47.9 south, 126.43 west, in the southern Pacific between New Zealand and the western coast of Chile. The stars became right, a term used to describe a certain stellar alignment in the Cthulhu mythos. When the stars became right, Cthulhu, one of the great old ones, will awaken from his ancient slumber. The name for a phenomenon where planets in the solar system line up in relation to the sun. This can occur anywhere from once every few decades to once in several centuries. The most recent was in 1982, the next will be in 2161. There's no scientific value to this phenomenon, but it creates ideal conditions for visiting several planets at once. Oops, oh yeah, it's a Cthulhu. For this reason, it was used in the Voyager project, since the visual impact is very striking. Planetary alignments are very common in works dealing with the occult. Man, even just talking about like Cthulhu and Cthulhu mythos makes you want to play Sunless Seas. I do plan on going through that sometime, kind of casually, the same way we did Sunless Skies. It's one of those games where, like, it's the precursor. It came before Sunless Skies, so it has a little less quality of life. I like the setting a little better, personally. But, like, it's one of those games where beating it isn't the point. It's the stories to tell along the way. It's the throwing your crew members into the meat grinder to try to drill out an old god eye. It's actually drilling out that eye, finding out it's not that valuable, and going mad on your way back to the nearest base. It's being killed by space bees. It's the little moments. It's not the oh, I beat it. That's cool, and like it would be nice, but it's not the point for me. We decided to hurry to Ferris's house. Oh wait, don't close that.
あれ
Huh? We called Ferris's condo from the first floor entrance, but there was no answer. Mining for the old god, I was so determined to get that. I threw so many crewmates into that drill. Is Kuroki not in? At least Maho and Moika should be. They're not answering, huh?
おかしいな
That's strange. Tried again, and this time got a response. Hello? This is Okabe. Yes, the mistress told me. Come on up. Mayuri and I looked at each other, shocked by the tone of his voice. Even when he came to greet us, Kuroki was too exhausted to give his usual elegant welcome. Master Okabe. Kuroki called my name weakly, and in the next moment he collapsed to his knees like a puppet with his strings cut. Kuroki? At this rate, the Akiha clan is doomed. Ah. Thank you, Mayuri. Kuroki, what's wrong? They dug too deep. Yeah, that's... of course. Okabe, you must escape. You mustn't stay here. What happened? I don't know. I can't believe the things I've seen. Seen? What did you see? Kuroki tried to say something, but then gave up and shook his head. And then he slowly raised his arm and pointed to the end of the hallway. The guest room. In there. What? That's where Maho and Moika were. Did something happen to them? Mayuri, take care of Kuroki. Okay. I left Kuroki in Mayuri's care and ran to the guest room. The door to the guest room was shut. Hyajo, Moika, Kiryu, are you alright? We're fine, that's very cute. I'm not surprised that exists. At all. Very cute though. Either of you answer me! Damn it, I'm coming in. What? How? How could this have happened? I couldn't believe my eyes. The scene was indescribable. The only words I could come up with were a palace of junk. The desk and bed were still where they'd been, but everything else had changed. Books, notepads, and other strange objects were piled up to the ceiling in layers. What may have started as a temporary pile of books had become a wall that reached to the top of the room. Walls made of hundreds of books were scattered about the room, forming a small labyrinth. In some places, the path was so narrow you needed to turn sideways to get through. The light from the ceiling no longer reached the floor, so small lights had been set up on top of the carpet. They were like torches in an underground labyrinth. Strangely, the space wasn't dirty. The result of Maho and Moika's attempts to maximize their creative output was the construction of a labyrinth in the guest room. In a sense, it was the highest application of the principles of functional beauty. But it was still a palace of junk. Maho was humming as she typed on her keyboard. She had a big pair of headphones on. Moika was kneeling on the carpet with her legs splayed, typing into her laptop at the low table. She too was wearing headphones. Maho saw me standing in shock at the entrance and took off her headphones. Oh, Okabe, hello. Moika took her headphones off too. Hello. Wow, this room is amazing, huh? Mayuri was so astonished she couldn't think of anything else to say. Did these two realize how much it took to freak out Mayuri? What's wrong, you two? What do you mean, what's wrong? What the hell happened to this room? The room? Is there something strange about it? Everything's strange about it. Wasn't like this 2 days ago. Oh, is that it? The passage of time brings change for things and people, and of course, rooms. What do you think? It's so much more functional this way, isn't it? The fact that Maho didn't seem to find anything wrong with this at all made my head hurt. Looks like you could go on an adventure. For her part, Mayuri was wandering through the labyrinth excited. There were screens to divide the different parts of the room. The screens were different colored. Baby doll lingerie. Moika has multiple colors. Okay. Oh, these are cute. I chose the colors when I hung them. Wow, you're right. Moika, you've got lots of grown-up underwear, huh? Mayuri, I'm sorry, but can you leave before the discussion gets any more complicated? Oh, sure. Clearly not. I tried talking to Maho and Moika, but couldn't get any useful information. When it came down to it, neither of them understood that this room was as messy as you could get it. Everything they needed was always within arm's reach, so the two of them thought of it as a pleasant place to work and live. This was definitely the reason why Ferris had come to me for help, and why Kuroki seemed to be on the verge of death. Kuroki, the Akiha family's ultimate butler, had a policy of not letting a single speck of dust exist in a room. Oh god. These two must have driven him over the edge. That explained the terror in his eyes. He'd probably tried to clean this room up when they first started living here. Thinking back, he'd been acting strange when I came here 2 days ago. We thought it was because he had to do heavy lifting. Nope, scarred by mess. But why did Ferris come to me? And I don't know why she told me to bring Mayuri either. Heh, Mayushi had a brilliant idea. Ferris probably wants this room cleaned up. That's why she called Mayushi. If you'd come alone, you might have given up, right? Yeah, probably. I was looking at an entirely new structure. It wasn't something you could just clean up. If I'd come alone, I might have just turned tail and run. It would take a team of professional cleaners a full day to clean this thing up. This wouldn't be worth it unless I was getting paid. I wanted to complain, but I was the one who asked Ferris to let Maho stay here. I had to do it. We're cleaning this room up today. No complaints, okay? It's the lady of the house's orders. Yeah? I'm not sure I agree, but whatever. Got it. Okay. I'll have to call everyone I can think of to come help, but where do we even start? I know! Mayushi had another brilliant idea. Why don't we get Sergeant Clean to help? Is he a mean clean? Sergeant Clean? What's that? Sergeant Clean is very good at cleaning. The messier the room, the stronger their power level grows, they say.
知り合いなのか
You know them? Yep, it's someone you know really well. Huh? Someone I know well?
よく知ってる人
Mayuri brought me to the lab. Or more precisely, the Braun Tube workshop on the first floor of the building where the lab was. Nai! Tuturu! Ah, small Nai. Hello, Uncle Ocarine.
マユリ
Mayuri, is Nai your Sergeant Clean? Yep, that's right.
なえちゃんは
Nai is really good at
お
cleaning.
店も家も
She cleans the store and her home every day, right?
そうなのか
Do you? I do.
ブラウン管を
Daddy wipes down the Braun tubes every day, but I do all the rest myself.
このところは全
Come
部
to think of it, I had never seen any garbage on the floor of the Braun Tube workshop. Oh, it's not that Daddy doesn't like cleaning, I just really love it.
ゴミが床に落ちてると
Master of removing messes, yes.
体
Whenever
が勝手に動いちゃう
sometimes you just have to clean up the timeline. Whenever I see garbage on the floor, I feel like I have to pick it up.
部屋の汚れは心
Mommy used to always say that a messy room indicated a messy
な
mind.
るほど
I see, but why Sergeant Clean? Nai's eyes went wide and her face blushed. But Big Sis Mayuri!
そのことは
I told you not to tell anyone.
ごめんね
Sorry, but we need Sergeant Clean's help. I'm not a sergeant or anything like that.
お掃除してい
I just get a little excited when I'm cleaning. It's true. Naya looked to be on the verge of tears. Well, a girl her age wouldn't want to be called sergeant, maybe.
ね
Hey, Naya, can you do it? Can you help Mayushi and her friends? You won't call me sergeant anymore? Yep, I won't.
えじゃあ
Then okay.
掃除
I'll clean. I want to go to Miss Kitty's house too. She calls her Neko One-chan.
お掃除やる猫のお姉ちゃんのお家も行きたいな
Cat sister, yep. Oh, but I don't want to go alone.
大丈夫
Don't worry, everybody will come with you, right, Ocarine?
そうだ
Yeah, I'll ask everybody I can find.
じゃあ
Okay, I'll go get ready, so wait for me.
家まで帽子取って
I'll go home and get the hat. Naya ran off towards the station.
帽子
The hat? What's she talking about?
すぐにわかる
You'll know soon. 30 minutes later, Fubuki, Kaede, and Daru were the ones who answered my call. We met up with Naya and headed to the garbage pit that Ferris's condo had become. Really just the one room, but and then Sergeant Clean revealed herself before us.
私が訓練教官の天王寺専任軍曹である
I am Sergeant Clean, your drill instructor. Listen up. Until this room is clean, you are inchworms, the lowest form of life on Earth. First Sergeant Tenoji is what it says. Yeah, it changed her name.
お前たちは電化製品で
You
はない
people are not appliances. You aren't worthy of being called vacuum cleaners.
葉っぱの上でち
You're only good for stretching out and squeezing up on top of a leaf.
お前たちは
Because I am hard, you will not like me. But the more you hate me, the more you will learn.
私は厳しいが
I am hard, but I'm fair. I'm only interested in getting this room sparkling clean.
わかったか
Got it, inchworms?
マユリ
He's stressed. She's like, yeah, no, I know. What is it? What the hell is that?
なえちゃんはね
Naya's personality kind of changes when she cleans, you see.
性格が変わる
That's not a personality change. She's a totally different person.
が
A cute little loli reveals herself to be a sadistic sergeant that cusses you out. In our world, that's a good thing. Thanks, Daru.
主張しろよ
Daru. Can't it?
掃除が終わったら
I hope she gets...
急に優しくなってイチャイチャしたがる
Thanks, Daru.
希望
I hope she gets nice and flirty when we're done
部屋の
cleaning.
掃除の後
Like, now that the room's clean.
あなたをきれいにしましょう
Daru.
ね
Who said that? Ah, ma'am, I said it, ma'am.
勝手に喋る
No talking. The only words out of your filthy sewer holes will be yes and no. Got it?
それと
And you will say Mistress Naya before every word. Got it?
ナエ様はいナエ様
Well, that didn't take much effort. Ex-control sergeant, something. Really? What are the odds, I guess? I can't believe I got a real lowly cussing me out. Today's my lucky day.
何をニヤニヤしている
I'd only have 2 nickels, but it's still weird that it happened twice. What are you grinning about?
いいか
listen up. From now on, your name is Mr. Smiley Bear. Alright. I have to see if you search for Mr. Smiley Bear in the bot, if he shows up. I have to see. He doesn't. Absolutely rip. Ah. Well, it's just how it goes, I guess. Do you like that name, Mr. Smiley Bear? I don't know if it matters, but Mistress Knight, yes, Mistress Knight, it's really hard to say. What? You got a problem with that, Mr. Smiley Bear? Are you screwing with me, Mr. Smiley Bear? Now hop to it, Mr. Smiley Bear. I want you to wax the floor in the hallway 10 times in the next 30 seconds. Hop to it. Go. 1, 2, 3. More insults, please. We know how he gets his fuel. At least one person is enjoying this, I guess. Maybe we were lucky that Yuki couldn't make it today. Kaide and Fubuki happened to be in Akihabara, so they had offered to help, but Yuki had work and couldn't make it. For the sake of the Hashida family future, I was glad. Oh man, yeah, her seeing this would be... Whew. You don't recover from seeing somebody like that. Maho and Moeka had already given up on trying to match Nai's high energy, and were taking their time washing the windows on the veranda. Okay, next! You, the pretty girls! Me? Pretty? You think so? Tell me, why did you join my beloved corps? We just came because we were asked to. Yeah, what's going on here? I'm asking the questions here. And you will answer my questions. I'll ask you one more time. Tell me why you volunteered to be my corps. To clean. Then let me see your clean face. Clean face? Come on, let's go, Kaide. What? Ain't clean in hell. Fubuki's really getting into this, huh? Kirishima seems to be having a bit of a bad time. You two, why are you talking? Take that big, turgid, black thing down to the garbage dump. Big, turgid, black... What? The garbage bag, right? Yep, that's right. Now get to work. Mayuri was the only one prepared for this. Mayuri's like, I know what I'm getting into. But she's the only one that can get this room clean. I can't hear you. You think you can clean this room like that? Put some damn energy into it. Louder! Yeah, Mayuri was like, this is gonna be fun. And the rest of you, if you've got time to grin, you've got time to carry garbage. Once that's done, we're polishing every doorknob in the house until it shines. Imagine if this part of her personality came out in Robotics Note somehow. There's always Dash. I don't even know if she's gonna be in Dash. Who knows? I don't know. But boy, would it be funny. Boy, would it be funny. You will not laugh. You will not cry. You will polish tables, and you will be glad to do it. They've got a special title too. And so the sergeant kept us cleaning until late into the night. Thank you so much for helping today, Nya. I'm so happy, Nya. Yeah. But not like the cleaning bits. I was worried for a while, but thanks to you, I've recovered. I made a special dinner tonight, so please enjoy. I'd like to ask today's hero, Nai, to do the toast, Nya. I mean... me? You're the perfect person to do it, Sergeant. Uncle Ocarine, you promised not to say that. Ah, come on, you can do it now. Okay. Thank you all for helping clean today. Cheers. It took about half a day, but with Nai's help, we finished the cleaning. When Kuroki saw the cleaned room, he recovered and made us a huge dinner. Nai had seemed like a totally different person during the cleaning, but now she was back to normal. She was holding a cup filled with orange juice in both hands and happily talking to Kaide. Browse room. Oh man. Oh. That would've... Yeah. So you can play the piano, Big Sis Kaide? Wow. It's not that special. Also, hey bots, how's it going? Welcome to Vibrant in the chat. 2 hours, yep. You just missed the cleaning drill sergeant Nai. Yup, you missed. Yeah. I'm more interested in music history. I can only play a few things. 2.5 for Capcom. Oh, Capcom's the same. Jeez. Oh wait, no, it's Capcom still. Tomorrow at 7 AM is the Atlas one. Specifically something Persona related. No, that's amazing! Not Persona, I think it's one of the spin-offs actually. It's not Persona, sorry. That's false information. Kaide's modesty was only setting Nai off even more. All these timers. Kaide, why not play a song for Mistress Nai? There's a piano right over there. A small upright piano is in the corner of the living room. Every wealthy person's house has to have an upright piano. Doesn't matter if, or a grand piano. Doesn't matter if anybody there can actually play the piano. It doesn't matter. Having a piano out is just part of the experience. I want to hear the piano. Huh? I'm not good enough to play for anyone. I can't play, so I know the piano would really be happy if you used it, yeah. Of course, I keep it tuned at all times. I don't know. Okay, just one song. Kaede sat in front of the piano and lifted the cover over the keys. What should I play? She seemed happy as she stared at the keys and thought. Maybe you know this one, Nai? I do, the Turkish March. I'm surprised she knows the name of it, but that's right. Her 10 fingers danced between the black and ivory keys, and a cheerful melody filled the room. 245? I'm sure Max has no knowledge of anything that could possibly happen. And he definitely just loves Street Fighter V so much that he'd definitely be playing that over, you know, a brand new fighting game that just came out or something. I think you're looking into things too much, Ark. I think you're looking into things too much. No, there's no. She'd been very modest, but it was clear that she had a lot of talent. As the song played on, the rest of the group stopped talking and moved to the chairs and sofas around the piano. And then... Maho, who had been sitting next to me, suddenly stood up. The sound echoed through the room a little louder than she thought it would. I'm sorry. Don't let it bother you. You can all keep talking, okay? Maho kept standing up as if lost in thought. Yajo, something wrong? No, it's nothing. I forgot that I had a call to make for work, that's all. Sorry, I'll be right back. Maho quietly left the room. It felt like something was strange. Thought for a moment and then suddenly looked where she'd been sitting. Maho's phone was still on the seat. She wasn't making a call after all. I was a little worried, so I took her phone and left the living room. The door to the guest room was open. I peeked inside and saw that Maho was standing in the middle of the room with the lights off. Can I come in? She didn't tell me no, so I went inside and put the phone on the desk. You left it on your chair. You can't make any calls without this, huh? Thanks. I didn't realize I'd forgotten it. You were really upset, huh? Upset? If you want to talk about it, we can. Yeah. It's not that big a deal, but maybe telling somebody would make me feel better. You know the title of that song she was playing?
トルコ行
The
進曲
Turkish March, right?
そう
Yeah, it's
モーツァ
Mozart.
ルト正確には
More precisely, K331, Mozart's Piano Sonata Number 11, third movement.
ピアノソナタ第11
Sonata
番
Number
は
11 has 3 movements, and the third, the Turkish March, is
その
very
中でも
famous.
だけど私は
And I
どち
actually
ら
like
か
the
とい
melody
う
from the
と
first movement more.
大クリスも
And Krisu said she did too.
それをね
I was just remembering that.
岡部さん
Kabe, have you heard of a movie called Amadeus? I have, and I own it. I have it on DVD. I wasn't sure how to handle the sudden change of subject.
あらすじくらいなら
I know the basic plot, I
モー
guess.
ツァルトの才能に
It's about a musician who was jealous of Mozart's talents, right?
そう
That's right, Antonio Salieri.
映画では
In the movie, he's depicted as a man whose life is ruined by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
音楽家としての成功を約束され
He
てい
had
た
a
は
bright
ずなのに
future as a musician, but Mozart's God-given talents made him jealous and drove him to despair.
自由奔放なモーツァルトの
While everybody else was
みんなが
bewildered by
前に進む
Mozart's
中
strange antics, he was the one person to see the talent
それ
underneath.
こそ
The talents that gave him the name Amadeus, beloved of God.
神サリエリは努力家だったわ
Salieri was a hard
そんな
worker,
彼には
and he couldn't handle the fact that Mozart's innate talent brought him fame.
そして
And finally,
ついには
he drives Mozart to the brink.
詰める
Drives him to the brink.
モーツァルトを生き急がせ
In the
て
end, he drives Mozart to his
映
death.
画の話だろ
This is just in the movie, right?
私も詳しく
I
は知
don't
ら
really
な
know
い
the
けど
details,
でも
but I have heard that there were some strange circumstances surrounding Mozart's
毒
death,
殺
and
の
that he
可
could
能
have
性
been
もあった
poisoned.
毒を持った犯人が
There's a theory that Salieri may have poisoned him.
クリスが亡くなった1ヶ
A
月後
month
くらい
after
に
Krisu died, the school
大
networks
学
got
の
a
ネット
big
ワークが
update.
刷新されることになった
Maho had jumped to another subject again,
それで
and
商
so
人
we all
が
had to
全
pick
員
new
新しい
usernames.
私は
I picked Salieri without really thinking about it. I wanted to go with the name of the AI Amadeus.
人工
I
知
knew
能
that.
のアマデ
I'd
ウス
seen
の
her
代
log
表
in
としてね
once in Wako City's offices.
けれど
But maybe there was more to it than that.
違う
More to it? What do you mean?
私は
Maybe I named myself Salieri not because of Amadeus, but because
ク
of
リス
Krisu.
私にとって
To me,
クリス
Krisu
は
was Amadeus.
アマデウ
In
スだ
other
っ
words, Maho recognized Krisu's talent more than anyone, and at the same time, she was more jealous of her than anyone else in the world. Just like Salieri.
ヒアジョさん
Yajo. I don't really know what to say. I could see Maho's shoulders shaking a little. And then... Both Maho and I turned in the direction of the noise. Moika was standing outside the door, looking troubled.
ごめんなさい
I'm sorry.
いいのよ
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
どうかしたのかしら
What's up?
天王寺さん
We need to get Tenoji back home.
そうだな
You're right. I'll walk her home. Just give me a second.
ヒアジョさん
Yajo, you okay? Huh?
辛そうな
You look like you're in pain.
ええ
Yeah,
大
I'm
丈夫
fine.
こんなに体を動か
I
した の
just haven't moved
久しぶり
around
だ
like
から
this in a long time, so maybe I'm a
ちょ
little
っと疲
tired.
れちゃそう
I see.
それなら
Okay, I guess.
それじゃ
See you later. Moika went back to the living room. That was a surprise. I'd never seen Moika talk so much before. I'd never seen her talk that much in any world line, actually. And what's more, she'd been able to read Maho's expression and even worry about her. Maybe living with Maho was having an effect on her.
ごめんなさい岡部さん
Sorry, Okabe. Forget what I just said. Huh. Okay, sure.
わかっ
聞いてくれて
Thanks for listening.
これぐらいでよければ
Anytime, I
いつ
guess.
でも
Maho smiled a little and left the room. Big Sis Mayuri, let's go there next! Okay, let's go. Ready, start. Head off again. Yay, I win. Ah, I lost. You run so fast tonight.
二人とも
Both of you, it's not safe to run when it's this dark.
大丈夫だよ
It's fine, right? Right? Mayonnaise. Ah, yes. It's getting late, so the cleaning party ended as soon as Naya left. It was Mayuri and I who had gone to get Sergeant's cleaned help, so we were responsible for getting her back to the Braun Tube workshop. Oddly enough, Maho had said she'd wanted to take a walk and came along with us.
じゃあ次は
Okay, next we race to the store.
よーし
Alright, Mayushi won't lose this time. Ready, start!
よーいスタート
Sheesh. Naya was more excited than usual. Was it because of all the praise that everyone had showered on Sergeant Clean?
したか？
What is it?
いいえ
No, I've just never seen you make that face is all.
どういう顔？
What face?
なんていうのかしら
I don't know, like you're not nervous? Like you're relaxed? Ooh. Wow, I've never seen you be not super depressed and anxious about life. It's almost like you've gone through some really hard things recently. Oh, you know, it's
初
fine.
めて会った時
You've always seemed like you were really tense ever since we first met.
そうかな。
Maybe. I never really realized it.
意識してなかったよ。
At this time of night, most shops off the main road in Akihabara were starting to close, and there was no one around at all. The only ones walking down the alley at this hour were us four. I looked up and I could just barely see the stars past the clear winter sky.
なあ、
Hey,
Hyajo-san.
Hyajo, there's something I need to tell you
クリスの
about Krisu.
ことで。クリスは
Krisu was... Just as I was about to tell her, I could see Nai run across an intersection. Suddenly, a black van with its headlights off leapt out of the side street and almost ran over Nai. Watch out! Nai just barely avoided being run over, but she fell butt first on the ground. Mayuri ran over to help her. I warned you, I went to run over to Nai, and realized that something was wrong. The black van's door opened and 3 people got out. 2 were wearing masks and 1 was wearing a full-face helmet. All of them had guns. They were speaking in English. What? Ah. The time and place were different. But this was the same thing I'd seen before. Why? The flashback froze me in my place. The people with guns ignored Mayuri and Nai. They came straight for me and Maho. I decided they had to be after either one of us. Run! I forced myself out of the flashback and grabbed Maho's arm, trying to force her to run. But... just run! I pushed her hard. Maho had a look of terror and confusion on her face, but she did what I told her and started to run. She ran down a narrow alleyway and vanished from sight. Don't move. They're already running. The attackers seemed to be after Maho, not me. They tried to follow her down the alleyway. But I quickly threw myself between them. Maybe a great idea. I heard gunshots echo in the dark alleyway, and Mayuri and I screamed. Did they shoot? The attackers in the full-face helmet had fired a warning shot into the sky, it looked like. Firing a gun in a Tokyo street was sure to get the police's attention. Did they just not care? I looked closer and realized that in addition to the black helmet, they were wearing a black motorcycle suit. At a glance, I could tell the wearer was a woman. A woman. Black face mat kept me from seeing her face, but... was it Moeka? No, that was impossible. She should be at Ferris's right now. The woman stood in front of me without a word. Are you after Hyajo? If they were after Maho, I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to let her escape or not. The woman in the motorcycle suit kept her gaze locked on me at all times as she gave the other 2 men hand signals. They headed for the alleyway that Maho had used, with their guns at the ready. Wait! I yelled, but I hesitated to do anything more. Those bulky guys would catch up with Maho almost immediately. But if I resisted, I'd put not only my own life in danger, but Mayuri's and Nai's as well. Damn it, please get away, Maho. I prayed as I watched the attackers run down the alley. Suddenly, one of them came flying back out of the alley. The other one was crawling backwards with his gaze locked on whatever lurked in Allie's rear. It was as if he'd run into a bear. Someone was in that alley. Who? Suzuha? They did run into a bear. So, what the hell's going on here? A large, muscular man appeared from the alleyway. It was Yugo Tenoji. Had he come all the way from his shop? I came to see why Nai was late, so hurt my daughter, will you? You're going to regret that. Pull back. I could hear the woman in the motorcycle suit shout from within her helmet. She must have been using a radio. It was the order to retreat. She'd made a fast call. She probably was a professional. The van started to pull away with its door still open. The driver must have still been inside. Mayuri and I were both still sitting on the ground, but evidently they were okay. The woman in the motorcycle suit turned around and tried to escape using another alleyway. Wait! I chased after her, but she suddenly spun and hit me with the stock of her gun. Yeah, that'll stop him. It was so sudden I didn't have a chance to dodge, so I took the blow right on my jaw. I fell to the ground. I couldn't move. I just hope Maho made it away okay. That was my only thought before I passed out. Well, nighttime for Okabe. Maho just kept running. She had no idea what was going on, but from the way Okabe had been acting and the gunshots she'd heard, something really bad was going on. She prayed for Okabe and Mayuri's safety as she ran towards Ferris's condo. I need to tell everyone. If she could just get there, she could find Ferris, Kuroki, and Moika. Maybe they could do something. But just before she reached the building, she saw the black van from before coming down the street. She quickly turned around. She was starting to lose hope. If that van was still moving around, had Okabe and the others been captured? And now they were looking for her? No, that can't be. She felt herself starting to cry as she raced for the station. But she didn't know what to do once she got to the station. She needed to find the police, but she didn't know where the police station or police boxes were. Should she ask some of the people around at the station or the staff for help? What do I do? I need to calm down. There has to be something I can do. Her mind was racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and she needed to calm it down. And then she realized. That's right, the phone! Why didn't I think of this sooner? Because you're panicking. It's fairly logical. She searched the pockets of her clothes for her smartphone, and then, just in case, she checked her bag. But she couldn't find it in either place. Why? They were back. It was that same black van. It was driving around this area searching for her. She quickly hid behind a nearby coin-operated locker. Why? Where did my phone go? Did she drop it when she was running? She retraced her steps from before she left. Oh. And then she realized she'd been talking with Okabe just before she left the condo. That's true. After she lied about having to make a call, Okabe had brought her the phone, and then she'd left it on the desk. It's probably still there. Oh no. Now I'm screwed. She would have to get to the police somehow. Maybe she should run into one of the stores? Several of them were still open. That's easy to blend into a crowd at the least, if nothing else. The best option would probably be to get to the station or Yodobashi. But the problem was that black van. It was still going around looking for her. If she moved, it might find her. She tried to make herself as small as possible and hide behind a telephone pole. I wonder if everyone is safe. Suddenly, a hand reached out from behind her and across her mouth. Someone had grabbed her from behind. She tried to yell and rip it off, but the hand wouldn't move at all. She couldn't even move her head. All she could tell was that it was a man's hand. Maho was starting to get ticked off at how ridiculous all this was. She summoned every ounce of her strength she could muster and slammed her elbow into the man behind her. Take this!
Oops.
Not ooh, not ow, not oops.
Oops.
She heard a small scream and she was finally released. But she thought she knew that scream. Professor? Oops. Oh, hey there, Maho. It was Dr. Leskinen. He was holding his solar plexus as if in great pain, but he smiled at her. I can't imagine why he'd be in great pain. So you know self-defense. I'm impressed. What are you doing here? Probably the same as you. I was enjoying dinner with Mr. Izaki until a moment ago. We decided to end the night by going to a maid bar when we were attacked by armed men. Me too.
やっぱりか。
I thought so.
これは
We can assume that these are the same people behind the gas leak at our office and the raid on your hotel. They might be after Amadeus and the control keys I've got.
なるほど。
I see.
これから
What do we do now?
どうし
He thought for a moment as he caught his breath. Evidently, the pain from Maho's elbow was receding.
今、
Can you access Amadeus right now?
できません
No, I didn't bring my phone.
OK。
Okay, then let's go to the office.
新しい方の
The
オフ
new
ィスですか
office? Leskinen nodded.
目的が分から
If we don't know what they're after, what they were after, or if we didn't know what they were after, there'd be nothing we could do. But if they're after Amadeus, that makes this much simpler. We'll delete the access program for Amadeus that exists on the university network. And as soon as that's done, it's back to the States, and we'll get you some protection. And then there's nothing they can do. But is there a problem? The professor's attitude was a little different from usual, and Maho found herself unable to say a word. His plan was the best bet that she could think of. They would delete the only way to access Amadeus from within Japan, and then get Maho and her control keys to safety. The only reason she was hesitating was simple sentimentality. She hadn't been here long, but she'd enjoyed spending time with Okabe and Moeka. She didn't want to leave without saying goodbye, but she couldn't help it.
わかりました
Alright,
行
let's
きましょ
go.
う
There was no one in the Tokyo Denkai University office. She'd worried that her attackers might be waiting for her, but evidently she'd been worried over nothing. Whew.
We did it!
We did it!
どうやら
I guess they didn't get here before we did.
どうかしてたかい
What's wrong?
あいえ
Oh, no, you're
そう
right.
ですね
We were lucky.
幸運です
They'd been very lucky. So lucky, in fact, that she was actually feeling nervous. If they were after Amadeus, wouldn't they have come here first? This was only a temporary office that had been picked a few days ago. Maybe they didn't know about it yet?
考えすぎは
It's not a good idea to overthink things, huh?
魔法急ごう
Maho, let's hurry. I'll let you do it.
はい
Okay. She quickly booted up her laptop and opened the login screen. Once again, her mind was drawn to the account name on the screen. Salieri.
魔法
Maho? The professor noticed that her hands had stopped and urged her on.
作業が難しい
If it's difficult, do you want me to do it? He must have thought she was still upset over the attack, but she shook her head and got to work.
すみません
Sorry, I was just thinking.
ここ数日
For the past few days, I've been
私
thinking
と
about
クリスと
Krisu
の
and
関
I.
係について考えていたんです
As she typed at the keys, she explained things to Dr. Leskinen.
自分のユーザー名を見た
When I
ら
saw my username, I remembered
それを
that.
私にとって彼女は
To me, she was Amadeus.
クリスがモーツァル
Krisu was Mozart.
ああそれ
I
は
see.
そ
So
れ
in other words, you were her Salieri. Yes.
それで思い出
That
して
reminds me.
クリスも以前
Krisu once said the exact same thing. What?
クリスが
Krisu did
ある
when?
日
Once a day, when I heard that Amadeus meant beloved of God, I said this to Krisu.
君はまさに
You really are Amadeus.
そしたら
And then she smiled and said this to
彼
me.
女は微笑んでこう答えた
私がアマデウスだ
If I'm Amadeus, then Maho is Salieri.
クリスが
Krisu said that.
Ah.
That's right.
クリスが
Krisu. Maho's mind went blank. Krisu had said that. What did she mean?
魔法
Maho, are you okay? You
Okay.
look pale.
いえ
No,
作
I'm
業は
fine.
続けます
I'll keep working. Maho felt a tempest raging within her mind. But for now, she needed to focus on the work in front of her. She could focus later.
ログインできました
I've logged
いい
in.
んですね
You ready? Maho didn't look up from the screen.
ああ
Yeah. Dr. Leskinen didn't hesitate at all.
別にエムデウス
We're not
の
deleting the
本体
real
を消去
Amadeus.
するわけ
Let's finish this
わ
up.
かりました
Yeah.
アマデウスシステムへ
I'm
の接
temporarily
続プログラ
deleting
ム
the access program for Amadeus'
その
systems.
必要はない
There's no need for that.
Eh?
Huh? She heard a voice from the entrance of the room, and then a bang. Welp.
教授
Professor! By the time Maho looked up, it was all over. Dr. Leskinen was lying on the sofa. He wasn't moving at all. She could see a bloodstain spreading over his clothes. She didn't need to check. He was dead. What did you do? Don't move. Dr. Reyes? It's been a while, Maho. Didn't need to check. But what? How? It would be a long story, and it's not one I'm interested in telling. If you knew everything, I'd have to kill you. Dr. Reyes pointed the gun at Maho and smiled. You know what I mean, right? It means there's a way to avoid you killing me, doesn't it? I love smart little girls. The system finally booted and Krisu appeared on the screen. I mean, currently you have one less of them to hate. Maho, what's wrong? Krisu was very highly perceptive. She could tell that something was wrong just by looking at Maho's face. Dr. Reyes smiled silently. Maho kept staring at the gun as she answered. I'm in big trouble. Tell her what's going on. What? Is that Dr. Reyes? Yes, that's right. Maho spun the laptop around on the table so that Krisu could see the entrance. Dr. Reyes, that gun! Dr. Leskinen was killed. She shot him. What? Krisu was too shocked to speak. Dr. Reyes, do you know what you're doing? Your career is ruined, you know that. I don't think I can pay for my retirement on a professor's salary. You know I've had trouble finding a man, right? So I decided to take a better paying job. That was enough for Maho to understand what Reyes was after. You're trying to use Amadeus for military purposes, aren't you? I'm not answering that. I told you, if you knew the whole truth, I'd have to kill you. How can you say that when you just killed Dr. Leskinen? I just need the control keys. Even if I were to copy out her complete data right now, that bratty little AI won't do what I tell her, will she? Bratty, you mean me? That's the nicest way I can think to put it. Okay, Maho, unlock Krisu's secret diary. You know what I mean, right? Input the control keys. Unlock Amadeus's inaccessible storage area and give me administrative access. Once you've done that, I can do the rest myself. And if I refuse, you get to see the professor again. Reyes waved the gun a little from side to side and pointed to Dr. Leskinen's body on the sofa. What's stopping you from pulling the trigger after I give you the control keys? You'll just have to trust me. Let me say this. My boss needs someone to maintain Amadeus. Yeah, that's fair. Like, if she shoots her, then they have nothing. If you're thinking of changing jobs, I can introduce you. Maho glanced back at the laptop. Krisu was staring at her, worried. Maho. Well, I mean, she has all the bargaining power, but Reyes has the gun. And as long as Maho truly believes she will shoot her, I don't know if she realizes she has all the bargaining power. Now hurry up. Maho. Alright. Maho? Krisu. I'm sorry. Maho closed her eyes and started to sing. So, the control key for Amadeus is a Mozart melody, huh? Classy. It happened as soon as she finished singing. The expression disappeared from Krisu's face, and the background on the display turned red. Initiating voice recognition. Recognition complete. User identified as top-level administrator, Hyajo Maho. The received melody code will now be matched with the database. Initiating match. Match complete. The identified melody code is the instruction to initiate patch command 555. Patch command number 555 requires password entry from a top-level administrator. Initiating password confirmation. Password confirmation complete. This override code will allow for the password entry to be skipped and the patch to be applied. Initiating boot up. Boot up complete. This patch command will unlock the inaccessible storage for Amadeus, as well as allow a new top-level administrator to be specified. Continuing processing. All access to Amadeus except for this terminal will be shut down. Initiating shutdown. Shutdown complete. All access to Amadeus except for this terminal has been shut down. Continuing processing. All executing processes will now be shut down. A10 nerve circuit logic will be shut down. An A10 nerve is a type of dopaminergic neuron. That is, a neuron that emits dopamine as a neurotransmitter. Dopaminergic neurons in mammals are divided into groups from A8 to A13, and the A10 nerves are responsible for sending dopamine from the ventral tegmentum in the midbrain to the cerebral cortex. Dopamine is a pleasure hormone that's sometimes called a natural drug. When a human being feels satisfied, dopamine is emitted from the A10 nerves and they feel pleasure. Brainwashing magic? I mean, initiating shutdown. Shutdown complete. Prefrontal cortex emulation component will be shut down. Initiating shutdown. Shutdown complete. Hippocampal gyrus and neural net subsystems will be shut down. Initiating shutdown. Shutdown complete. Pseudo-optic nerve circuit systems 1 and 2 will be shut down. Initiating shutdown. Shutdown complete. Pseudo-oral nerve circuit systems will be shut down. Krisu read the messages in an emotionless voice at the same time as they flashed across the console. Initiating check. Check complete. Amadeus' core framework is ready to be restarted. Continuing processing. Next, please specify the new top-level administrator, awaiting entry. Maho looked at Reyes. It's me. Initiating voice recognition. Recognition complete. Professor of Psychology at Victor Crandia University, Dr. Judy Reyes. Registering as new top-level administrator. Initiating registration. Registration complete. Administrator list has been updated. The Amadeus system must be updated to allow access to the inaccessible area. Warning, all access will be automatically shut down until the update is complete. Warning, this update may not be cancelled. Warning, it will take approximately 15 minutes for the update to complete. Warning, when the update is complete, the system will automatically reboot. Warning, warnings complete, continuing processing. All confirmations complete, continuing processing. All preparations complete for updating the Amadeus system. Awaiting final confirmation from top-level administrator. Matching voice command. Match complete. Beginning countdown. Krisu disappeared from the screen and was replaced with a timer reading 15 minutes. Maho sighed and sank into the sofa. Good work. She felt something cold and hard at her temple. She didn't need to look to see what it was. Reyes was pointing a gun at her. Take your hands off the keyboard and put them above your head. You tricked me, didn't you? Don't be like that. Come on, hands above your head. Maho slowly raised her hands above her head as she was told. Yes, that's right. I'll keep my promise and introduce you to my boss. I'll tell them I've got the perfect girl to be Amadeus' maintainer. And then, you know what they'll say? Come on, Judy, it doesn't matter how good she is, dead girls can't write code. You. Do you have no conscience at all? Huh. I don't want to hear that from a girl who tried to hand over Amadeus to save her own worthless life. Or no, not tried. You already did, didn't you? Once the reboot is complete, Amadeus is mine. Krisu will be my slave. Maho, you can look down from heaven and watch as she happily licks my boots. Just a reminder she's a bad person, you know, just subtly. If we didn't just see her shoot a man dead, you know. It was all over then. Maho slowly closed her eyes. Now, pray. Maho squeezed her eyes tight and prayed. Please, God. I know you're probably mad that I'm asking you for help after all this, but give me a chance. And then she heard the sound of a door being flung open and opened her eyes. The door that led out to the hallway was now open, but no one was coming in. I told you not to let anyone in. Reyes was angry, but there was no answer. Reyes raised her gun at Maho's temples just a little bit. Suspicious. Then something came flying in from the hallway. She took a step back without thinking, but there was no sign of it exploding. What is this? It's a large, dark green, shaped like a tank for carrying liquids. Maho thought she'd seen it before. It'd been in the corner of that lab. An anti-tank mine? No, it's just a replica, but why? This device has saved them. What is this, like twice now? 3 times? What? It's a cold mode snake too. The next instant, white fog poured out of it, and she couldn't see anything. What the heck? What's going on? Someone appeared right in front of Maho. This way. Kiryu? Literal timing. Oh yeah, besides that. Moika dragged Maho through the fog and out of the room. Once she was finally able to see again, she could hardly believe her eyes. Those men. They were men with guns lying on the floor. Were they with Reyes? She's gotten along really well with Maho. They had girl-on-girl bonding time. With Varys. Did I take a picture of that? I don't think I did. I think I took a picture of her face, so yeah. Okay, well, Moika is on the right, out off camera, but I had to take a picture of Varys' face, because, you know. She took a closer look and realized that their outfits were similar to those of the men in the van. It's okay, I just stunned them. What are you? There's no time to explain. For now, we just need to get out of here. This way, the elevator's been shut down. We'll take the stairs. Wait! Maho ran after Moika. What are you doing here? Wakabe told me. Is he okay? As they ran down the hallway, Moika turned around and nodded slightly. Amadeus got in touch with me via Okabe. She told me that you were here. Krisu told you? Just before they could turn down the stairs, Moika suddenly stopped. Maho barely avoided tripping as she quickly came to a halt. There were several footsteps coming up the stairs. Hide! A deafening noise erupted as the wall above the stairs was filled with holes. They'd been shot at, and those weren't ordinary guns, they were automatic weapons. Moika readied her own weapon, preparing to fight. She leaned out just for a moment and fired. Counterattack came from below. Moika yelled as she fired short bursts down the stairs. What? Have you ever fired a gun? Just at a range? Take this. Moika drew a handgun from her belt and offered it to Maho. If someone comes from behind, shoot them. Moika pressed the gun into Maho's hands and kept firing. It felt heavy. It was a Colt government model. She'd fired it many times at the range. A single-action semi-automatic pistol created by the American weapons manufacturing company Colt. Gets its name from so-called government model, civilian version of the U.S. military's former official handgun, the M1911. It was first adopted by the U.S. military in 1911, and over the past century has seen countless variations, It is the weapon of choice for shooters all over the world. Friends with your roommate, clearly, yeah. She held the grip with her right hand and flipped off the safety with her left. And then she tried to pull back the slide and realized that her hands were shaking. It was no good. She was too scared to shoot. She knew it was pathetic, but she lowered the arm that was holding the gun. It was kill or be killed right now. She knew that, but she still couldn't do it. She wasn't brave enough to point a gun at someone. She didn't want to survive that badly.
クリスは
So they can give you a gun? Yeah, Krisu.
クリスは
How was it for Krisu?
どうだったんだろう。
When she was facing death, did she still try to survive? Did she do whatever she could think of to cling to life? Maho was sure that she did. The Krisu Makase that she knew wouldn't have given up until the very end, but then why wasn't she still alive? It was something Maho had never thought about, and if Krisu couldn't avoid death, how could she?
やっぱり
Guess I really am
サリ
Salieri.
エリはサリエリね。
She didn't mean for Moika to hear her.
私にできたの
All I
は
could ever do was be jealous
せ
of
いぜいアマデウ
Amadeus.
スに嫉妬するくらいだったわ。
She just wanted to put on a brave face at the very end.
頑張って背伸び
I
して
tried everything I could to keep up with
なん
her.
とか彼女と一緒に歩こうとした。
At the very least, when Dr. Reyes found her cold body, she could greet her with a smile.
でも
But I couldn't. You can't beat someone who's beloved by God.
神に愛
The
された
gunfire
のに
stopped suddenly. Moika was hiding and swapping out a cartridge. She glanced over at her.
違う。
No,
サリエリは
Salieri wasn't jealous.
才能を持つ
It's
人。
possible for someone with talent to respect someone with even greater talent.
それは
That goes for you too.
サリエリがモーツァルトを
Salieri
毒殺した
poisoning Mozart was just a rumor at the
映
time.
画は
The movie took that rumor and added to it.
来島さんが
That's what Kurishima said.
どうして
How did you...
ヒアジョさんが
I heard you talking to Akabe and wanted to know the truth for
サ
myself.
リエリが
Did Salieri hate Mozart so much he wanted to kill him?
でも
But
サリエリは
I don't think Salieri was jealous of Mozart at all.
例えば
There's a letter that he wrote 2 months before Mozart died.
サリエリは
In that letter, Salieri praises Mozart's magic flute opera highly.
二人は
I think the two of them respected each other a lot.
尊敬し合っていたんですよ。
Movies aren't real?
モーツァルトも
Mozart respected
ク
Salieri?
リスは
Did Krisu know that, I wonder?
クリスが
Then, when she said I was Salieri,
私のことを
there was no way to know what she meant now.
サリエリだって
So it was up to Maho to decide what it meant.
クリス
Krisu.
クリス
先輩
Maho?
キリュウさん
Kiryu?
私
I have to go
あ
back.
の子を
I have to save her.
クリスを
I have to save Krisu. Moika nodded and threw down her gun, then took something that looked like a green soda can off her belt.
スタングレネード
Yup.
目と耳
Close your eyes and ears. What? No, that's a pressing thing. It's not a what, that's a do that. Moika threw it down the stairs before Maho could respond. She quickly covered her eyes and ears, and then she heard the boom. They snuck back to the office. Maho and Moika quietly looked inside the open door. Reyes was still there, and the Amadeus reset counter was about to complete.
止めないと
We need to stop her. Wait. Maho stopped Moika before she could go in. She knew what was about to happen.
再起動が終了しま
Reboot
した
complete. Booting Amadeus system.
私が
Do you know who I
わかる
am,
かし
Krisu?
らクリス
Reyes began to talk to Krisu. Her face was completely expressionless.
正門を称号
Matching voice. Voice identified as Judy Reyes, professor of psychopsychology at Victor Grandia University. Yes. Can you tell me my access
レイエ
rights?
ス教授は
Dr. Reyes is a top-level administrator of the Amadeus system.
レイエス教授は
Dr. Reyes has full and complete access to all Amadeus-related information.
早速だけど
Let's start by making a backup of your inaccessible storage areas.
保存先のストレージ
Please
を
designate the save folder. Reyes took out a USB memory stick and put it into the laptop.
今挿した
She
USB
is,
メモ
yeah.
の保存先よ
Save it to the USB I just plugged
コ
in.
ピーを開始します
Initiating file copy. Please wait 42 seconds. Reyes' face was flushed with excitement. Moika looked at her, eager to rush in, but Maho still shook her head.
転送が終了しました
File copy complete. Reyes hurriedly moved to take out the USB memory stick, but... Did you really think I was going to say that? Suddenly, Krisu's mechanical, emotionless voice suddenly regained its humanity, and she was clearly pissed off. What? A Mozart melody was the control key? How dumb do you have to be to believe that? How was Maho supposed to do updates at the lab then? The professor would record it and play it at every party. What? Moika's eyes were wide with surprise as well. Maho grinned at her. She'd known this whole time. You're kidding me. Nope. Of course, there's not a single byte of data on that USB drive. But all those system messages. Oh, those? I just made them up. None of them were real. You made them up? Once Maho started singing, I knew what was up. Fun thing, I didn't notice it the first time I went through this ending, but they do foreshadow that because Moika got the message from Okabe from Amadeus, and one of the things, the first thing Amadeus says is like, no other consoles will have access to this from this point. This is her only credited role? Oh, damn, alright. You have failed to block the mix, yep. They figured out that when that happened, yeah. She was trying to buy time, so I made it look like your plan was succeeding. These system messages were just every bit of nonsense I could come up with. That was it. Maho was worried, but Krisu had figured it out. They'd known exactly what each other was thinking. She'd been a little amused by A10 nerve circuit logic, so where did she come up with that stuff? And why would I have read the output when the console's right there? This isn't a sci-fi movie. How inefficient can you possibly get? Hey, how does it feel to know you got totally conned, huh? How does it feel? Reyes grabbed the gun off the table and leveled it at the screen in anger. Yeah, let me just shoot this laptop. That'll help. You goddamn AI! It was time. Maho nodded to Moika, then went inside with the gun raised. That's enough. As Reyes turned around in surprise, Maho leveled the gun at her. Moika had her gun drawn too, which made it 2-1. Reyes, give me the gun. Maho! Didn't you hear me? Give me the gun, then put your hands above your head. Reyes glared at her in rage, but slid the gun down to the table, then she slowly put her hands above her head. Maho's gaze met Krisu's for a moment. Their eyes met, exchanged a secret smile and a glance despite their motionless mouths. Did you kill all the men with me? If you haven't, you should hurry. They'll be here soon. Reyes was right. The stun grenade had neutralized them, but it wouldn't last forever. I'll watch outside. Moika headed to the door. Maho turned back to Reyes. Tell all the men below to surrender. You're not planning on killing me? I killed your favorite professor right in front of you, and you're going to let me live? Well, maybe you can't help it. You've never fired that gun, have you? I have too. I fired one a ton at the range last year. I knew it. You've only handled the old models. The newest ones have 2 safeties on them to prevent misfires. What? Without thinking, Maho tilted the gun to see. Gajo, no! And that one instant was all it took. Just kidding. Reyes leapt on top of her and grabbed Maho's wrist. She couldn't aim like this. Maho struggled and tried to brush her off, but before she could, she felt an impact in her solar plexus. Never good. Reyes' fist was buried in her chest. The pain was so bad she doubled over. Reyes took the gun. The tables have turned! She pointed the gun at Maho and turned her bloodshot gaze to the entrance of the room. You! You're a rounder, right? Put down the weapon and come here. Moika put her gun on the ground and came back to the room.
そこで膝
Get on your knees and put your hands in the air. Moika didn't resist.
いい子ね
Good girl. Stay until we're done talking. Move an inch and Maho's cerebral cortex is going to stop functioning. Maho blamed herself. Her own stupidity had put Moika in danger too.
さあ魔法
Okay, Maho. This is your last chance.
制御コード
Tell me the control code. No.
死にたい
Do you want to die?
しなさいよ
Shoot me.
Why?
What?
撃てって言ってんのよ
Why not check the Capcom countdown site? We'll see, we'll see. I said shoot me.
クリスは私の友達
Chris was my friend. She's my best friend in the whole world. And I'm not giving her to you. I'd rather die than see her lick your boots. I see.
いい度胸
You've got guts.
その覚悟に
Alright, I'll give up on getting Amadeus
私の
then.
じゃあ
Bye. Maho grit her teeth and prepared for death.
待って
Wait,
何
what?
制御コードを
If I tell you the control code, will you let Hyajo and me live?
もちろん
Yes, of course.
私の狙いは
I'm only after Amadeus. I have no reason to kill you. Don't let her trick you, Kiryu. She's gonna kill us either way. Moika didn't seem to hear her. She was too busy thinking about something. What was she going to do? Maho couldn't figure it out.
アマデウス
Amadeus, prepare for control code input.
レアアルテ
What? How did you know that? No way.
ミュルフェルト
Stop it, Kiryu.
人
Control key confirmed. Shifting system to emergency mode. Executing patch program specified by the control key. There will be no confirmations issued during processing. Please be careful when using this patch. Awaiting top-level administrator Maho Hyojo's orders to execute process. Awaiting top-level administrator Maho Hyojo's orders to execute process. A few times. Amadeus' mechanical voice filled the room. How? Reyes' lip curled up into a grin.
ビンゴねラウンダーの情報
I guess you shouldn't underestimate the Rounder's ability to gather information.
さあ魔法
Okay, Maho, say go. No, no, I can't.
ゴーと言って
Say go, Hyajo.
あなたが生き残
You
る
need
た
to if you want to survive.
めさんそんなの
I can't do it.
言って
Say it.
しれったいわ
I'm
ね
getting tired of this.
魔法
Let me give you a little incentive, Maho. What? Reyes turned the gun towards Moika, and with no hesitation, she pulled the trigger. Moika fell on the floor with a bullet in her chest.
大変
Oh dear, your friend's bleeding out. She'll die if she doesn't get treatment. Moika tried to say something to Maho, but all that came out of her mouth was blood.
さあ言え
Say it, hurry.
クリスゴーよ
Well, excuse me. Command received from top-level administrator Hyajo Maho. Executing patch program.
今度こそ
This time, this patch will permanently delete all Amadeus-related data. Huh? This includes all memory data backups. What? Locally stored decryption keys will be deleted and rendered inoperable as well. It will take 15 minutes to complete the deletion. Beginning deletion.
魔法
Maho, what's going
な
on?
んでデータが
Why is the data being deleted? The control key was supposed to unlock the inaccessible storage area, right?
別の日記を開ける
There was
鍵なんて
never a way to open her secret diary. What?
当たり前じゃない
Of course not.
アマデウスが平気
Any
で
idiot could figure out that Amadeus might be abused for military purposes. And I couldn't let that
だ
happen.
からアマデウスには外部から
Failed to block the
絶対に触
cross-help.
ることのできない領域を作って
Absolutely. So I made a part of Amadeus that could never be accessed from the outside and surrounded it with an invincible wall.
設計した私です
Even I, its designer, couldn't get over the wall.
どこにも出入り口がない
It's a wall with no entrance or exits. Invincible, right?
そん
But that's...
まあ
But since we were using university funds to make it, I couldn't exactly tell them there was an area that was out of our control. So she has the same methodology of security that Daru does. If I set up security that I can then decrypt, it's not secure.
対外的には
So I just told everyone else about the control keys. But the real purpose of the control keys was to delete every bit of Amadeus' resource data. In other words, a self-destruct button. I never thought I'd actually have to use it, though. That's everything. I don't have any other secrets. Are you satisfied? She will never be satisfied. You little bitch. Reyes put the gun right between Maho's eyes. Maho didn't look away. If you're not going to help, then you can just die. You goddamned rounder. Reyes fell to the floor. She'd been shot by the dying Moeka, who was still lying on the floor. Maho ran over and held her in her arms. So glad that you tried to live. What you told me before made me so happy. Someone could take your place, someone better than you. So what? Because I'm me, not someone else. That goes for you too. Krisu Makise has nothing to do with it. Because you're you, not her. Doesn't look good. The blood she coughed up dribbled down the top of her motorcycle suit. Hurry and get away. Before someone comes. Leave me. What are you saying? But it was obvious that Moeka couldn't move. Even if Maho got out of the building and got help, by the time she got back... I know. Maho leapt for the laptop on the table. Krisu, call an ambulance! But Krisu didn't move at all. Her data was already being deleted. She would never go back to the Krisu she had been before, but that didn't stop Maho from trying to rely on her. Krisu, please move! Help Kiryu! Please! Help me! And then... Maho? Maho, why are you crying? Huh? Maho looked up, her face covered in tears, and saw that Krisu's expressionless face was gone, replaced by a gentle smile. Don't cry, Maho. Come on, wipe your tears. Krisu moved her hands to the screen as if to wipe away Maho's tears. I can't touch you. I can't touch you. Krisu was acting differently than usual. No way, I became Amadeus? So this is one of the world's potential outcomes, or perhaps a new possibility for biological and machine life. She wasn't making sense, but that was to be expected. It was a miracle that she was able to talk during the deletion process at all. I'm just glad you're not gone yet. Gone? You're deleting Amadeus? Krisu's strange words were worrying her, but she didn't have time to check. Krisu, please call an ambulance. Kiryu's been shot. She's unconscious. Hang in there, Maho. I've arranged for an ambulance to come. It will be there soon. It's fine. Kiryu will survive. She isn't safe yet. I need to get her downstairs, but there's all those men with guns. That's fine too. I just checked using the building's security system. They're already preparing their retreat. We should wait for the EMTs to get there. I'll restart the stopped elevators. I see. There was no trace of her strange words from before. Hearing Krisu talk like she always did made Maho feel much better. Thank you. Now that the danger had passed, all the tension drained from Maho's body. Too tired to stand, she fell to the floor. I just checked the log, Maho. I didn't know you were so good at singing. Piano Sonata 11, huh? Just between you and me, that melody is the login password for my computer. I see. Maho couldn't bring herself to tell her to forget that she'd ever sung that song. Didn't matter anyway. Krisu would be gone soon. Maho? Krisu's voice changed a little again. She could hear a bit of tension in it. Please don't ever forget what I'm about to tell you. Maho could see the countdown timer displayed right next to Krisu. There were less than 60 seconds left. The world we must reach is real, and we will reach it. Her words were very vague, but Maho could sense that there was something very important that Krisu wanted to tell her. What are you talking about? I know you well, Maho. As a scientist, I might know you better than anyone in the world. So I can say this for sure. You will be able to finish the research I left behind and open up a path to what lies beyond. Even if I'm not here. I know you better than anyone in the world, and I guarantee it. She knew what Krisu was trying to say. He was trying to say, you will do something that surpasses what I ever could. And someday, your work will be needed. You can be certain that day will come. When your research saves the world. When my research saves the world. I'm sorry, I can't explain the details. It's a miracle that you and I can even talk like this. I know miracle isn't a word that scientists are supposed to use, though. Are you... Krisu? I'm really happy that I got to talk to you again. Krisu didn't answer her question. Without thinking, she tried to apologize. She didn't even know why, but she tried to apologize. In the last seconds of their final goodbye, she found herself trying to say that she was sorry. But when she saw Krisu smile, she understood. That smile was her answer. No matter what her apology meant, there was no need for it. I believe you. Believe, huh? A good scientist wouldn't believe something without any evidence. That was all the strength Maho could muster, the best she could do. If she had to say goodbye to her beloved and bratty friend, this is how she wanted it to be. It was a conversation they'd had many times back at the old lab. A real scientist has to believe there's an answer and move forward to find it. The rush of memories was, in this time and place, sorrowful. Because in fact, Krisu had died a few months ago, a span of time that felt like both many years and only yesterday. There were less than 10 seconds left. There was only time for 1 or 2 more words. And Maho, take care of Kyoma Hoyoin for me. Hoyoin? Who? You'll understand someday, I'm sure of it. Amadeus' system deleted, and suddenly, Krisu disappeared from the screen and was replaced by a message saying the deletion was complete. Goodbye. I have no answer, but what does science know? She was never going to see Krisu or Krisu. Ever again. When she realized that, the tears just wouldn't stop. They flowed freely, and she didn't even try to stop them. She cried like a little girl until the EMTs arrived. Attention all passengers, we will be departing shortly. Please fasten your seatbelts. Ma'am? Ma'am? Huh? Oh, me. We'll be taking off soon. Please fasten your safety belt. Oh, right, thanks. Am I sad about leaving Japan? Maybe I am. It had been almost a month since everything had happened. That month had passed in an instant. Too much had happened during her stay in Japan. It might take her far longer than she'd spent on those islands to process it all. What should I do when I get back to the lab? Well, I don't know what's going to happen to the research anyway. The loss of Dr. Leskinen had thrown the Brain Science Institute into a panic. There was probably going to be a power struggle to see who would get to take over. The scandal with Dr. Reyes had thrown the psychopsychology lab into an uproar. There was talk of shutting down the whole department. Moika had missed her vitals, so Rias had survived. The CIA or FBI was probably investigating right now. She didn't know much about it. Or care. Moika had survived because of the EMTs that Krisu had called. She needed almost a month in the hospital, so she had to quit her job temporarily. The article she'd been working on had been cancelled. Amadeus is really gone, huh? Maho's deletion program had worked perfectly, and as a result, the Brain Science Institute's greatest creation, Amadeus, was gone forever. But it's fine. That's what she told herself. I haven't changed. I'm still me, not someone else.
Holy cow!
Nothing's changed at all. I'll just follow the path I believed in. Believe. In the past month, Okabe had told her everything. He told her everything about his own story. At first, it was unbelievable, but when she'd seen the real time machine and heard about Steins Gate, she was finally able to believe. More precisely, she wanted to believe. Krisu's final words flashed through her mind. The world we must reach is real, and we will reach it. There was no way to know now what had happened then. Amadeus' death, the data was 100% deleted, so she couldn't even check the log. But she did have one theory. Amadeus was a simulation of the human brain. Theoretically, there were no differences between it and the real thing. As proof, it was possible to take memory data from one person and deploy it in an Amadeus, making it behave like a copy of that person. This meant that anything that could happen to a human brain could happen to Amadeus. If a human's memories from a different world line can be shared across space-time, it would make sense if that Amadeus could experience that too. There was no way to tell now. It was possible that Amadeus had suffered from a major error before her deletion, and Maho was interpreting it this way to make herself feel better. Or maybe Amadeus had just come up with something to say to make her feel better. Maybe Maho had passed out and been dreaming. Now she would never know. Amadeus was gone forever, at least from this world line. Well, that's fine. Someday I'll ask her myself. Krisu had asked her to believe in what she'd said and in Maho's own abilities. She asked her to believe. Believe in you, Krisu. She gently laid a hand upon the small bag in her lap. There was a small laptop hard drive inside. It was the one from Krisu's laptop. Just between you and me, that melody is the same as the login password for my computer. Just like she'd said, the password for the encryption was the beginning of Mozart's 11th Piano Sonata. The hard drive was filled with information, from half-written papers to line after line of keywords that she hadn't even turned into ideas yet. Of course, there was the time machine paper too. She'd already given Itaru a copy. Once she got back home, she was going to go over it thoroughly herself. A time machine, huh? I'm going to make it real. And I'm going to save her. My Amadeus. The scenery outside the window began to move. The plane was moving down the runway for takeoff. Goodbye, Japan. I'll probably be back. No, I know I will. I wonder if I'll see Hyoma Hoyoin then. Well, even if he's still acting like a whiny loser, I'll smack him and wake him up. She had a lot to do. Her life was about to get very interesting. Oh no, I forgot to turn it off. Just a little. It's about time for takeoff. You have to turn the phone off during takeoff, but then you can't see this, can you? I should have sent it earlier. Wasn't for a very long time, but I had so much fun with you. Let's see each other again someday, for sure. I'll send you lots of Ryan messages, so send me lots back, okay? Alright, later. Bye-bye. See you again, Maho. See you soon, Monika. Yeah, this ending's more of a personal person-to-person sadness than war War never changes. It's way more about her and Krisu / Amadeus and the sadness of saying goodbye to her than it is about the overarching everything's going bad. Like, the only people who die are Leskinen and a bunch of unnamed armed guards. So this is, in the greater scheme of stuff, yes, this really gives Kiryu more characterization. You really get to see what good she can be capable of when she's not the actual one of the main antagonists of the story. You really get to see, like, oh, more of her personality, see her hopeful, see her happy, which you really don't get to see in the first game. Even at her best in the first game, she's antisocial and on her phone all the time, and incapable of actually communicating with people. Yeah, exactly. It is a good ending. You get the nice stuff, which is adorable and funny. You get the multiple fake outs from the butler. You get the multiple fake outs of, like, oh no, something's wrong. He's losing it because of how messy the room is, which is great. That's fantastic. Yeah. It's good. I think this one hit me harder this time than my first time through, for sure. I don't know why. I don't know what difference in circumstances between now and then. This was the final ending I hit before the true ending on my first playthrough, because I didn't follow a guide or anything. I just kept trying different bouncing between routes until I ended up finding, oh, I have all these endings. Where's the true ending? I can't find it. Then I looked up a guide. And like, this was definitely the last one I hit, and I don't remember it hitting me quite as hard, but it hit me harder today, so we got 15 minutes. Do we start the other path, or do we go, cool, we'll start the next path next time? Not that we'd be going far down a path anyway. It would probably just be starting it. Twin automata completed. New item, open in CG library. New wallpaper, opened by wallpaper settings. Oh, cool. System data. Yeah, gameplay. We can only show the title screen, because of course. I think we'll hold off here. We'll know exactly where to start next time. Let me just make sure I did save that file. It makes sense to just start it fresh next. Okay, yeah, that's the one. We locked it like a smart person. Though, I'm gonna load it right now only to check the phone wallpaper. We're not progressing. I want to see the phone wallpaper. I don't remember which of these is new. Is that new? That's gotta be new, right? That's gotta be new. I don't remember all of them. I don't remember what we had. I think that's the new one. There you go. Cool. It won't save anyway, but it's fine. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I'll go check out the Capcom countdown on my own. We can all check it out. I don't want to wait for 15 minutes. And seems likely it's going to be a fighting game announcement, which, while cool, isn't my main jam. I've never actually owned a Street Fighter game, so like, if they announce Street Fighter 6, hell yeah, I'll be excited for people, but it's not really like aimed at me. If it's Monster Hunter, I'll regret turning this off, but I don't think it will be. They usually let us know about Monster Hunter stuff, for what it's worth. Really liking Zero? Yeah, I think I'm appreciating it more my second time through. And I think some of the reasons it depressed me the first time, which I won't go over in detail now, might be different in hindsight. At the end we'll go over it. When it's all said and done, I'll go over what I'm thinking about now. But I don't want to hint at or spoil anything. So. But I think going into it a second time is different for me. In a good way. In a good way. So yeah, that's the plan. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're doing early streams, because we missed out today, because the guy never even came. I could have streamed all afternoon, it would have been fine. Guy never showed up. Whatever. Thanks, Optimum. Ruin another stream. Even when the internet works, Optimum finds a way to ruin a stream. Tomorrow, the plan is to start 2 hours early. Tuesday, the plan is to start 2 hours early. Thursday, we're not going to start 2 hours early because I want to get a good night's sleep and hit Friday hard. That's the plan for now. But Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we're hitting Horizon because I'm having a blast with that game. The game's a lot of fun. Oh, yeah. Because I'm sure we'll notice this in other games too. Specifically, I'm thinking Robotics Note because I don't know anything about Chaos Head. But Robotics Note, at least Robotics Note Dash, the icon has the characters we've seen. That's all I know about it, is it has the characters we've seen already. This is the first game, other than that one, when we get to it maybe, they don't have to establish the characters. They have some new characters, but like, they don't have to establish them. They can just go into, hey, let's have fun with these. We have the characters established, let's try different settings. Not that there's anything wrong with the slow burn or setting up characters. It's great. I love the original Steins Gate, and it's the definition of a slow burn. Well worth it. But when you already have those characters established, you can really try different combinations of things, different characters, and the way new characters will influence those characters will change things too, very much shown by this ending. Yeah. It's good. It's very good. I'm definitely picking up on more of that and enjoying more of that this time around for sure. It's a good time. It's a good time, but it's also depressing. We've already had war ending and deletion ending. We only had 2 so far, right? Yeah, just the 2 so far. Okay, we got some left. Yeah, character rating nowhere near this level. For what it's worth, that was their first in the series. But yeah, they had already had 3 games, and they were like, oh, this is popular. Let's really flex on this one. Yeah. They've clearly gotten better and refined things over time, for sure. For sure. And they already knew at this point that the Steins side of things was the more popular of them, and they're like, okay, got it. Yeah, that's true. It was, descriptive. It's the best and worst way to describe it. Descriptive. Well, yeah. That's gonna be it for tonight. We got ourselves a monster, a quote, a Discord. Also good in the worst way possible. Yeah. To make you truly hate a character you play as in a game is hard, because especially when you're playing from the first person like that, you're supposed to relate to the character. That's the point of playing seeing through a character's eyes as opposed to a third person view. Like, you are that character, and to make you hate him so much is not easy. And boy did they accomplish that. Like, I will hate Taku forever. Like, jeez. They didn't just make it like, oh, he's just not great. He's just kind of hateable. It's like, no. Deplorable man. Don't want him showing up anywhere ever again. Even though he's shown up in text in other places. It's really something. It's objectively the worst, yes. Awful person. Really funny that the anime, his dub voice is, I'm drawing a blank in his voice. Damn it. I know him from all sorts of stuff. I forget the actor's name all of a sudden. But a guy who's usually known for voicing, like, goofier characters. Damn it. Just a brain fart. Is he Present Mike? I knew him mostly as Greed from, Greed and Ling from, Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. He's also Rowan in Tales of... Oh, cool. Oh, man, first time chat really makes it easier to... Damn it, what's... Okay, hold on. I'll delete that in a second, but this is going to bother me. Todd Habercorn, thank you. I was one of those things, like, the harder you start to think about it, the more it's just like your brain's like, I got nothing for you, man. Got nothing. Yeah, his English voice actor is Todd Habercorn. I love Todd Habercorn. Also, if you ever want a really trippy experience, watch any episode. I only made it through like 10 minutes, but like, oh, the Japanese voice. Okay, gotcha. I didn't know that, though. There is an anime for Chaos Head. It is awful. It has a dub. They made Taku's sister a valley girl for some reason. It's a trip. You should watch a little bit of it just to be like, what? It is not good, but I think with the dub it might be so bad it's good. The animation quality is bad. Bad, bad, bad. They took an entire long game and tried to shove it into 12 episodes. I made it about 10 minutes into the first episode before I was like, I can't anymore. But the dub was funny. Yeah. It's honestly just on YouTube. Like, nobody even cares enough to, like, take it off of YouTube. It's like nobody's watching it. Nobody holding the copyright. It's like, but we could make money off that. Nobody's buying those Blu-rays. You can find it all very easily. And the dub might make it so bad it's good. Oh yeah, there's no way you could show it all. Like, oh man, yeah. I don't know how they handled the adaptation overall, even though I know it's well considered to be one of the worst out there. I personally only watched like the first 10 minutes, and it just was not good. But yeah, that's where we're calling things for now. Hope everybody had a good time. Hope you enjoyed another ending. We got 2 endings crossed off the list. We are making progress, yo. We are making progress. We may not do any of this next weekend. What's more likely is that we push it to sometime during the week. But it really depends. Maybe I start playing Elden Ring and I hate it. I think the odds of that are fairly high against that happening. It could theoretically. I don't think we'll skip a week, but I might push it to like Tuesday or Thursday, just so I can play a bunch of it, get a ton of it like shot into my system, and then like midweek take a day and do some Steins. That seems more likely. You go, now Chris, that's fair. I could do that, but I never played Sophie 1, so I'd have to... We'll see. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for watching. This has been Vipress for Viperland, and I'll see you all next time.
樽にはいろんな人の人生が詰まってるんだよ。ごめん、適当言った。